problems like that. So I understand the frustration.
Deciding that you are personally not going to vote and having legitimate reasons for your personal disenchantment is a different thing from taking an anti-voting position, encouraging others not to vote, and worse, presenting your personal decision not to vote as the one right thing to do or something that is going to move us closer towards any shared goal. And to those making the general argument that voting legitimizes the state, let me address that.
It doesn't make sense at all. And I read one of these Reddit threads was talking about, well, when you're voting, you're basically acquiescing to the state continuing to exist in this heterosexist, capitalistic society. I'm like, but like 40%, what's the percentage of people who vote? Less than half? So
right.
If voting meant that you were somehow propping up the state, then the number of people who vote now should mean that the state would be steadily dissolving in some way or devolving. But it's not. It's getting more powerful.
I tell you, no one gets it.
It's frustrating. And I read these Reddit threads and I can tell that some of the people who are writing read like white people, right? And so I automatically discount that. Because if you are a white person in this country and you're running around talking about, I'm an anarchist, viva la revolution, I'm sorry, you. There's nothing about the revolution that is really going to harm you. Meanwhile, people that look like me, people who are trans, they will deaths. People will die. There's literally an ongoing effort. There's an ongoing anti-trans genocide. Like, it's a genocide. People think, oh, it's like just kind of cutesy, everyone's calling everyone groomers and blah, blah. No, they want people to not be trans. When you are trying to erase people from the thing that they are, that's genocide. So I don't understand how you can look at this election and look at what's going on with this wave of anti-trans bills that have been pouring out of state legislatures and say, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter. Literally, do you have a trans friend? Look your trans friend in the eye and say, it doesn't matter if I vote or not. Now, if you live in a state, if we're talking only national elections, right?
Yes.
And if you live in a state that's like reliably blue, then fine. Maybe vote because you're trying to vote for a third party. Maybe it'll help them, maybe it'll raise interest in that party. They'll be able to raise money. Like, I get that. But if you're living in New York or you're living in California and you're telling people in Ohio and Florida and Wisconsin and Michigan that it doesn't matter that they vote, what the are you smoking? Like, I truly, I can't figure it out. And what bothers me the most is that when I talk to the people who
Van, what are your thoughts?
It's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happier to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. The I can't breathe. That wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know. And you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you. And you're worried about your kids. And you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into the car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And this is a big deal for us just to be able to get some peace. and have a chance for a reset. And the character of the country matters. And being a good man matters. You know, I want my sons to look at this. Look at this. You know, it's easy to do it the cheap way and get away with stuff, but it comes back around. It comes back around. And this is a good day for this country. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day. But for a whole lot of people, it's a good day.
Welcome to a special MLK edition of the CJ Show. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Nick?
What's poppin', my friends, my family? Welcome back to Nick and CJ Show. And CJ, you wild for that one. You wild. You're out of touch for that one. You're crazy. That's probably one of the best clips to show to highlight the scourge of the black sellout class. One genocide later, and now you have the Democratic Party that has been completely destroyed. You have Muslims that are planning to campaign in 50 states against Joe Biden, and he's crying now. He just had another crying performance not too long ago. Another thing I think, but there's someone's breakdown because you had that first clip. They're still living.
We're gonna get to that one too. We're gonna get to that one.
There's the another thing I was thinking about. I don't have a segment on this today, but I find this funny because I think this kind of I was thinking about this when I was listening to the Olayemi Unhinged clip. Right. My question to Olayemi and her co-host: would you tell people to vote in a blizzard for Genocide Joe? Fam, we have a bunch of goofs in Iowa that are risking their life in a blizzard to vote for politicians who don't care about them. You got senior citizens, and I saw a report. It was like some report. Was it on YouTube or something? But I saw a report that was explaining that the weather that's going on in Iowa right now is hazardous. CJ, you know that? They said that the weather going on right now is potentially hazardous, especially to like older people, younger people, people who have more sensitive, right? Meanwhile, you have Donald Trump, you have Ron DeSantis, and you got Nikki Haley as well. That's like, hey guys, don't worry about it. It just fine. It's a little bit of snow. Come on, guys. It's very important for you to come out here and vote for us. They are telling people to vote in the fucking crazy weather. Are you gonna vote for these politicians in a blizzard? And for real, I would love, after seeing that clip, I would love, no cap, I would love to go on Olayemi show and talk to these people and explain to them what revolution actually is. But I want to ask them a few questions. How important is voting? Olayemi, is it so important that you would tell people to risk their life to vote for Joe Biden in a blizzard? No, I wouldn't say that. Why not? CJ, if you really believe that democracy is on the line and you really believe that Donald Trump is this tyrant, wouldn't you tell people to vote in a blizzard? Will you tell people to take PTO? CJ, will you tell, the working class family, the single mom who is pushing pennies, Olayemi, will you tell her to take time off to pay the vote? Is it that important? Oh, no, I wouldn't tell them to do that. Why not? I thought the election was important. You guys see how much time and investment should people have in this electoral system? The argument that comes from us is zero because these people are oppressors. But I have a lot of, go ahead, CJ. I'll pass it back to you. There's a lot of breakdown in those clips that you played.
No,
so I'll pass it back to you.
I like to play those clips because it stirs a little, our introductory conversation to get the juices going. But I'll kind of start. It's not really a monologue, but start with a little sort of what I wanted to do when I titled this. Don't confuse Martin Luther King with the Obamas or the Black bourgeoisie. And I just remember a collection. Like this day landed on Nick and CJ. It's so perfect, Martin Luther King, because I had built up a collection of things I've been wanting to go over, Nick. And I finally have a topic, which is the Black bourgeoisie, the Obamas, that sort of class of people pushing against revolutionary spirit. That's our tradition.
CJ, if you remember,
it is so awkward. But go ahead.
CJ, if you remember, the first ever Substack article I dropped 3 years to this day, I released on MLK Day for a reason. My first ever article, Embrace MLK, Reject Barack Obama. We need to reject the scourge of Black neoliberalism. That was my first ever Substack article, released on MLK Day. It's one of the main focuses of my politics. It's calling out the Black bourgeoisie class, which are the people. These people that are here to tell people to vote for their oppressors. These people who are counter-revolutionary. And I'm gonna explain this when I seen this clip, when I seen the little bit I seen of this. These people are counter-revolutionary forces. And this video is perfect. When I seen like a little bit of it, I watched like 2 minutes when you sent it to me, CJ. They watched that much. 2 minutes in, I'm like, dude, this is perfect because this video is a perfect summary of why social democrats are dangerous to this movement. They are spreading counter-revolutionary ideas. They are here to be nihilists, to tell people to accept the conditions that were laid out to us by a ruling class. They are telling people who are the most vulnerable in our society, the people who are not of the bourgeois class, the people who are not public defenders and lawyers like Olayemi and her friends who are actually very well off. They're essentially telling these people to die in silence. Vote for the lesser two evil until you die. But I'm gonna explain more as we get to the video. That's my preface to this. I'll pass it back to you, CJ.
Yeah, and I have a similar sort of preface, and I posted this on Twitter, and I don't want to start a ruckus, so I said, I'm not trying to throw shade, but I did want people to see the video. And I did tag Ajamu and Baraka and Margaret Kimberly, because other than this landing on Nick and CJ for us to cover this, like all of this coming together, the only thing that's missing is that we had both of those two or one of them here for this discussion on MLK, because we're going to be the crescendo, the climax of this whole presentation is going to be an article by Margaret Kimberly where she says we should ban war criminals from celebrating MLK. So that's sort of the climax. But go ahead.
One last thing I'll say when we play the clip. You guys know we had Olayemi on the show a few times. This is when she was still trying to dabble her feet in what audience she'd go into grift. Like she had the abolitionist phase, where she's going to say, I'm going to play around with being the abolitionist far left Democrat kind of person. And then she got praised by AOC. And I remember because we used to follow each other. Like once she was on our channel, so it was clear, fam. I'm telling you guys this right now. This is my expertise in this. She was praised by AOC on her timeline, and Olayemi literally had a fangirl moment. She immediately was like, "Oh my God, thank you, AOC!" And it was a deeply revealing moment. Everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And
I don't remember the video,
on,
Nick, but we covered it. I remember you saying this thing. We covered it. I don't remember the name of the video, people, but go ahead.
And I remember we had Olayemi on a few times. People were like, hey Nick, she sounds good on the policing issue, but you gotta be careful about her. You probably saw those comments as well. I read a lot of the comments on her video. People are like, I know she sounds good on policing, guys. You guys are focused on that. But trust me, guys, she's kind of a Democrat playing. I was like, and then that kind of planted the seeds in me. I'm like, wait, I didn't see this because I only follow her for policing stuff. I saw her get praised by AOC on Twitter, and then she's like, thank you, AOC. And then from that moment, I was like, oh shit, these people may be right. So I started paying attention from that moment on. And from that moment on, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention earlier. That's possible. It's possible that I wasn't paying attention earlier. Or from that moment on, when she was praised by AOC, she said, okay, I found my lane. Full-fledged Democrat. So maybe one or two things, CJ. Either I wasn't paying attention, or that happened and she completely flipped her politics. Because you know why I don't trust Olayemi and I go hard on her, and the reason why she's a coward? She came on our show, CJ, and we talked about this. I don't know if you remember this. I got a great memory. I remember a lot of stuff that happened on the show. I have to find this clip. I don't got time for this shit. I got to literally dig through our show. We talked about lesser two evil, CJ. We talked about Democrats, and I remember being pleasantly surprised because I was like, Olayemi, what you think what black people should do with politics? I remember this so clearly. I like, do you think that black people should stay Democrat or leave Democrat? And this is what she said on our show in front of our audiences, fam. She said, to be honest, guys, I'm kind of done with Democrats. I used to follow it. I don't believe it anymore. It's clear to me that going to the Democratic Party does not work. So two things happened, fam. Either she shifted to the right from when she was on our show, or what I think is worse, both were bad. The second, she came on our show and lied to our face.
Spoke to our audience. She spoke
She
to a
liked-
revolutionary audience, yeah. So she changed the language.
I'm sorry, that was a long prefix, but I'm gonna get to this video. That's why it's so funny to see this, because there was our comrades that was warning us about her when we had her on about policing, and I take that L. I take L sometimes. That was an L. I should have looked in more into her, but she is a Democrat op, and you guys will see what I'm talking about as we continue this video.
Yeah, so the point of this entire segment, just so to bring it back in focus here, the point of this entire segment is don't confuse on this MLK Day that we're recording this, don't confuse MLK with people who try to pretend they're living in sort of his philosophy as they push against revolutionary thought, revolutionary spirit. Like, they can't do both. You can't be like, I'm rah-rah Democrats and I'm revolutionary. That's not how it works. And we'll get into more when they get into their points. But let's listen. They get right to it in the first minute. So let's listen.
All be all, because I can't even vote. I obviously believe that there are other things that it needs to be voting and plus, because you see me doing the and plus all year round. That's what I'm doing to you all the time. But the way I see it, to me, there are two paths. There's revolution. You're gonna go be a revolutionary and burn all that numbers. Hey,
I ain't no bricks.
Exactly. And
if our viewers don't got bricks.
Oh yes.
So shut the
This is what happens when you read zero theory or read zero history. Ladies and gentlemen, who needs revolution the most? The people in the bourgeoisie class, the public lawyers, or the workers, or the people who are victims of state violence? Revolution is a science. These people don't understand this because they don't read. They don't read anything. They don't read Marx. They don't read the ideology they are critiquing. Revolution is a way of life. It's a way of sustaining life. When she said, I'm doing the other, that's why I say, are you? Because what's the other? We're going to be on Jimmy's show. We're going to talk about the other later. Providing for people material conditions right now. That is one of the most revolutionary things you can do in this moment, is engage in mutual aid. Are you doing that? What is the other? When she said I'm doing the other, what is that? I want you to be 100% clear. Because what we are doing is we're building community. We're building a government outside of the corrupt government that left our people behind. So when you build outside, I'll get into this a little bit too early, because my angle on this is I'm going to explain theory to these dumbass social democrats who go through their entire political life thinking they know stuff when they never read anything. They don't read history. They haven't read the Black Panther Manifesto that explains why Marxist Leninist and revolutionary is inevitable and why this is tied to the Black community. They are happily ignorant. But I'll let it continue. I need to shut up because I want you guys to hear more of the points. And I'll break down more.
What they're saying, or this is how I take it, they're saying, which is true, they're saying they're throwing away revolution because they bought into the white structure and of how to process or how to get revolutionary material goods. They bought into using the corrupt apparatus, the corrupt system, because when you are a lawyer, you are a person that's going to go, I've been through schooling, I've been through the process, now I'm invested into this system that the white power structure has set up. So it's almost like foreign to them. It's like, man, I'm looking at these revolutionaries. This is not how I learned from the white people how to get shit. What are you guys doing? This is what this video is about. What are you guys doing? This is not how white people say to get shit. That's how, when you're saying, why aren't you studying who you're talking about? Why aren't you studying history about our Black radicals? Did they say this is how they got shit? It's so easily, like, just Google. Like you said, just read anything. But let's get back to the video. Like I said, we are 30 seconds into it, sir.
Yeah, I'm holding back a lot. There's gonna be a lot of things. I made 2 minutes in. I'll let you know right now. When you send me this, I made 2 minutes in. I'm blind after that. I made 2 minutes in. Like, yep, I seen all I have to see. This is gonna be easy. It's gonna be easy. But let's continue.
Sorry. Everybody want to get up on stage and rah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be Suge Knight at the Source Awards. But
Suge
like
Knight.
Nobody got the bricks.
That's what I'm saying.
And you shouldn't be getting your bricks from YouTube.
Using Suge Knight just tells you how they are so disconnected. Listen to the person he uses as an example of you screaming, like you being Suge Knight. Suge Knight was a revolutionist? What are you talking about?
Well, it don't make no sense to me. It made no sense. Let's continue because there's going to be a lot to say on this.
You know what I'm saying?
Not exactly.
Right. So it's a lot of that. Yeah.
Like, do you think the real, like, if I'm like, do you understand what comes along with being somebody that actually says they're going to burn it all down? That person is
Look at the
not
framing.
going to with colorful.
Look at the framing. Social Democrats, and once again, I love this is why I became a Marxist, fam. When I read that shit, I seen everything I read in the books play out. The Marxist critique of social democrats and the democratic socialists they are definitely afraid of revolution. They believe in the structures at play. They benefited from the structures at play. She's a public defender. So they view overturning this system that is unjust, that is killing our people, robbing our wealth. They view that as an attack. They view that as something being destroyed. I talked about Shiva the other day. Shiva is the god of destruction, but he destroys it in order to create. That's the idea of Shiva. That's the god of destruction. Shiva creates the god Brahman come in and create something better. That's the idea of revolution. This system doesn't serve us. This system just kills us. They got cop cities being built. You have racial income inequality that's worse than ever. We got more black millionaires than ever. We got more black lawyers, but this system has not been kind to us, has not been kind to colonized people as well. So this is not a system worth protecting. You got to destroy that down so you can create something better for our people. But that process of destruction is very scary for people who benefit from it. That's why we talk about, we like, yeah, revolution, yeah, revolution, nigga, this shit gonna be safe, it's gonna be great for us. Meanwhile, the people on the top, they are definitely afraid. Which is why we have class consciousness and how we organize. So when we have social democrats that say they're on our side, we have to understand that they can only go so far. They only going to go so far. As soon as you start talking about stuff that makes them uncomfortable in their social circle, we are seeing it right now in Israel. I got in my segment, or either Nick and I have a speech from the person from South Africa talking about how people who condemn Hamas are cowards. That's social democrats. They condemn Hamas because they are afraid of losing their position in the social circle. So I'm gonna let the clip continue because once again, I have so much to say, but I want this to run smoothly. I'm gonna explain the concept of capitalist realism to you guys because after I watched 2 minutes of that, that's what immediately came to my mind. So you guys know, capitalist realism is the idea that capitalism is a system that will forever be among us. There's nothing we can do to get rid of capitalism. It is here to stay, CJ. In 2,000 years, we're gonna have capitalism. It's completely unscientific. No other system ever lasted forever. Every system that ever existed always would change and upgrade through the scientific process known as revolution. But social democrats believe in capitalist realism that this system will never be changed, and any attempt to change this system is a waste of time. I'll explain more in detail. You guys want to see that as we continue the video.
Yeah, but it's kind of ironic because by her own admission, and we talked about it because we had her on the show, she calls herself an abolitionist. Isn't that burning down the carceral system? Isn't
I do know that. I know that, but it's so crazy.
Isn't that what that is? Isn't that so? It's bizarre that in one area she's fine with the so-called burn it down, and in this context, she's using burn it down not in a good way. She's using it burn it down like it's thoughtless, like it has no particular logic to it. And like you said, revolution is about destroying and rebuilding. So you have to have a destruction phase, and the professional managerial class don't like bumpy roads, Nick. They just want to telepath themselves to the place, to the goal they want to be, to the promised land, in other words. But let's get back to the video. Let's try to play it a little more.
Thumbnails and on your Twitter and get a break. Yeah.
You know, shout out to I don't remember this dude's name. I kind of don't like him, but he's right. That's the best way I could describe him. He's done a couple of videos. Somebody just tagged me in this newest one, but his critiques are on point. And one of the things he talks about in one of these videos, he's like, why did so many socialist movements end up in dictatorships and things like that, right? Is he points out that there is a fundamental conflict between the people who end up leading socialist movements and the people they're leading. And that the people who end up leading are almost always academics and children of the petite bourgeoisie. And there's this fetishization of working regular people.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Fundamentally impossible for them to.
I'm trying to let it play, Nick.
Go back to where you said that and let it play. Let him, I want to hear that part again, CJ. After we play a part again, I'll let it play. Go back like 10 seconds. He said there's a fetishization of work. I want to hear it again. I don't want to misquote him. I want to hear it again. That's
so crazy. You and I are zeroing in on the same spot. So when we stop it, I'll let you go first, and then I'll go.
There's this fetishization of working regular people that makes it fundamentally impossible for them to effectively organize with them. And they end up being leaders because they have access to the levers of power that put you in that position. And then once they get there, they can't handle or manage that effectively. And watch the video. I don't know if you don't put the whole thing here because I probably bastardize the shit. But the point I'm getting to is that one of the problems about the visible left, the visible and very online left.
Yes.
Because the thing you understand is that the left you don't see is the real left.
That's what that is a conversation I've been having in general, but the difference between the
online left, CJ. The online left, CJ.
Would you call the Palestinian protest? Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, CJ. You hit exactly what I was. You hit exactly what I was doing. We be on the same fucking thing. We be on the same. The online left. Who was successful? Are the Cubans the online left? Are the socialists in Venezuela? Are they the online left? Is the Vietnam, like these are the people who have ideologies that you guys despise. These people adhere to Marxist-Leninist principles of revolution. What they are saying is ahistorical. Like, this is what zero theory does to you guys. These are people who read they study no revolutions. They don't understand the outside imperial pressures that went after states that have revolutions. CJ, they look at Haiti like, oh, look, these motherfuckers probably fucked Haiti up, not realizing that France and the United States bankrupted them. So these are the social democrats that blame the people who created a revolution, and then those states come in and crack down, and then they led like Operation Condor in many of these countries that have socialist revolutions. And I'm trying to, and believe me, guys, I know I'm probably fucking this segment up, CJ, but I am trying to keep it short. You guys have no idea how much they are misleading you here. They are blaming the people who created the revolutions for socialist states falling instead of Operation Condor and Ronald Reagan killing and torturing thousands of socialists. Like, this is offensive on so many levels. This is, to me, when I see this clip, this is as bad as anything you find on Fox News. Like, this is the best. Like, if I was to find you a video version that sums up the social democrat critique that Q Anthony Amene has, for example. If I was to find you a video like, all right, Kwame Ture talks a lot of shit about social democrats. What does he mean? I will show you guys this video, and I'm gonna let it continue because there's gonna be a lot to say. Like, there's no words to even begin to describe what he's saying here is so wrong. But let's continue.
Yeah, I started with this because I knew this was gonna be triggering and thought provoking, and we need it. There's no way you and I, Nick, could not let this video go by without, because this can't be out floating without somebody saying, well, you know what? I saw somebody speak against this. Go watch that video, because Sam Cedar, I saw this on the Majority Report. That's how I even knew about this video. He's the one promoting it.
Yeah,
he is literally promoting, because he has he's like, because they want to be able to, like, CC is a black person saying it, and they thought it was beautifully done because they use like black people throughout the video to speak on this topic. And understand, Nick, the word online is meant to be derogatory.
Yeah.
When he says online left, he is telling us, without telling us, he hangs out with the bourgeoisie.
Yeah,
no
if you don't
one
have
in
a
the,
job.
no one in the lower class uses online left. That is a bourgeoisie, a ruling class sort of
that's the
derogatory slur. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a way to that's you, CJ. You hit exactly where I want to go with that. It's to delegitimize workers and people who don't have important titles. They're not the online left, even though they literally have a fucking online show. Even though they literally on Twitter, they're not the online left because they got official titles. I'm a public defender.
Right.
So
Right.
let me tell you guys this. Rome is extremely online, brother. If you listen to me, you gotta forgive me because you know I'm true. You know I'm telling the truth. Rome is online as fuck. This guy tweets as much as I do, and I tweet a lot. Rome is on Facebook, all this stuff. Rome is very online. It's only in me. Are you really trying to tell me that the people who you consider not the online left, the AOCs, the people you like, she loves AOC. She thinks AOC is effective. Meanwhile, Rome, are you telling me Rome, the part of the online left, is not effective? Rome is online, fam. He built a library. He has tour for the poor, fed thousands of people. Like, I'm thinking, like, what number can I use for that, CJ? Rome fed X amount of people, thousands of people. You guys see how it is used to demonize average people and demonize people who don't have a title? Once again, this is why they hate RBN, because I'm a college dropout. When I got 110,000 plus followers on Twitter, RBN is doing decent, and these PMC people, their reaction to me and my success is, who this nigga think he is? Fuck this nigga. Fuck this nigga.
That's exactly what it is.
Fuck, he knows something. Remember when I got an invite to go on the Hill to debate Venezuela, and then the online left, the real online, like the Olayemi left, they was like, Bree, how dare you bring Nick on the Hill? Who the fuck is this guy? What is his credentials? I saw
Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon said that. Yeah,
Ben Dixon. Yeah, thank you for giving me a name, because I don't remember these people by name like that. Ben Dixon was one of the people like, this guy bringing on this fucking college. Who the fuck is this guy? Bring on an expert. Meanwhile, I went on the Hill and dismantled Robbie in a way that none of these people can. I dismantled Robbie so bad, he didn't bring me back. I never been on the Hill ever since then. Meanwhile, they be bringing Ben Dixon and other people on the Hill. Welcome back again. You ain't anything. I don't feel threatened with you at all. So they remember, they immediately disqualified me because I'm a Midwestern boy with a speech impediment, who a college dropout, right? So they like, this, he not worth a damn. Meanwhile, I went on the Hill and killed it. I went viral, fam. I don't mean to brag, but I'm making a point. That's the only reason I'm doing it. They look down on anyone who's a worker, right? But I made my point.
This is an argument that would be effective like in the 1990s, like when the internet first started, because the people at the internet would be people who were rich. So you'd be like, the online, that would have referred to rich if that was the case. It is not the case today, sir, to be like online. Everybody's online, sir. Even the new Black Panther party's on, like literally everybody online. Corporation Jackson, you would call them, they're online. Like, it is so ridiculous. Margaret Kimberly's online. Freaking Black Alliance for Peace is online. It's so ridiculous. But let's get back to the video. Let's try to get through some more of this content. We are after the 2-minute mark, so all of this, Nick, is brand new to you.
Very Black left in real life in terms of versus our online left or what is vocal.
Right. The real left is not going to be here on YouTube too tough. The
real left.
But the problem is the visible real left is very much a petite bourgeois project.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can play. Because I'm gonna have a lot of space.
I say this from experience. There's an inherent insecurity with the role we embody within these politics as part of the problem, and those who will have to sacrifice our class position in order to
a quick thought, and I'll let it continue. I will actually respect their argument more, CJ, if they had a different end conclusion. Like, if we had like a difference of opinion on social change, that's okay. But what makes this disgusting is that they are doing this on the premise of you should vote Democrat. This is not an honest disagreement. They are here to co-opt our language, to use their identity, the fact they look like us, to get people back in the Democratic Party. I'll let it continue, and then I'll expound on that later. I really do want to let it play more. So let's continue.
Realize the goals we putting forth.
Yeah.
And so what happens is there's this cosplaying of revolutionary. There's people that want to prove that they're
But people who
more
vote Democrats are
radical and revolutionary than their class.
No, they're saying they don't even want the revolutionary. She said, remember earlier, she said there's two paths, revolutionary and then what they're doing. They don't want the revolutionary, apparently.
Class position dictates. And what it ends up doing is invisibilizing and marginalizing the real problems that regular people face. Regular people will be affected.
So revolutionaries who want to change the system to better everybody's lives in every aspect, from healthcare to economics to work-life balance to a means of production, those people are invisibilizing issues, Nick. That's what he's saying. Not vote. How is voting Democratic Party is invisibilizing Medicare for all or single payer health care? It's invisibilizing your own freaking issue, Olayemi, which is police abolition. It's invisibilizing that issue. So going through the Democratic Party is invisibilizing so many issues from the anti-war movement. Who do you vote for? Those people are invisibilized. This is like backwards logic, but go ahead. If you want to chime in, I can get back to the video.
You know who made invisible? What they are giving, what did it mean? 20 minutes, 20-minute video? This is a 20-minute seminar of us rationalizing why we are selling out the Palestinians. Why you should sell the Palestinians and feel good about yourself. So if you want to express your desire to end the siege of Gaza, who do you vote for? Nobody in this system. If you want to vote for someone who wants to, or if you want to express your desire to end this police state that imprisons 1/4 of the world prison population, who do you vote for? Olayemi, the quote-unquote abolitionist, would say you should vote for Joe Biden, the person who built this system, and then she would use fancy language and the fact that she had prestige in this system because she's a lawyer and she has a college degree to shout you down. Because this is why they will never invite us on to have this conversation that's clearly about us, right? Because they use
you take it that way. You take 100%, it that way.
100%. So they use their title in order to shout down the opposition. No, you say this, you're dumb, you don't have the titles we do, so we just say stuff that make no goddamn sense. No, what we at RBN, what we're doing in the year 2024 is telling people, when you say stuff, you have to explain to me why what you're saying makes sense. Why you as an abolitionist is telling people to vote for someone who's building up the police state. You guys are telling people to vote for Democratic Party as they building up cop cities, and then you got to tweet because only Emmy tweeted about this. I used to see it before she blocked me, unprompted, because she can't handle our criticisms. You know what I mean? So you virtue signal, you get likes on your tweet, and you build up your clout resisting the police state, and then you give up your power to give power to people who are against your premise and your cause. That's counterproductive, fam. But I'll get to that a little more later. I want to explain that more in detail. Like, they say this in the video. They talk about how it's not a big deal. Anyway, see, jump back to you. I'm going to explain that concept. I want to take time to break down that thought. Because they pretend that, oh, not a big deal. You vote. No, you guys are being counterproductive. If you're abolitionists voting for a police state party, you are working against us at 10 demands. But CJ, when you're ready, I'll pass back. Sorry.
Yeah. No, what I was what I was gonna say. Yeah. Anyway, forget about it. I wanted to put this up there though. If you oppose the Democratic Party, you're cosplaying. Apparently. But let's get back to the video. Right? Yeah.
By a Republican administration versus a Democrat administration.
Yes.
I think that people romanticize and sensationalize revolution or romanticize, sensationalize liberation. And it's just like, hey, listen, man, that all or nothing idea you have is very parasitic.
Are you not supposed to fantasize about your liberation? That is really odd to be like, people, so the Palestinians every day, aren't they supposed to have hope that they will be free one day? I don't understand this, but let's
revolutionary than their class position dictates. And what it ends up doing is invisibilizing and marginalizing the real problems that regular people face. Regular people will be affected by a Republican administration versus a Democrat administration.
Yes. Yes.
See, when you don't know what these
I
words
think
that he's
people
using mean,
romanticize-
when you don't know what the words he are using mean, I can see how he can trick people. But when you're actually a real Marxist and leftist who read theory and history and understand the theory and science behind this, you realize this guy is essentially picking random words and throwing them in a sentence. It makes no sense what he's saying. You're making people invisible by refusing to vote for Jim Crow Joe? Like, someone explain to me that logic. So once again, he says big words, and people who probably don't know that better, man, this guy sounds smart. But how what he is saying makes sense. How do you vote for a mayor? Once again, the mayor in Kansas City. I'm going to use local politics because local politics is what matter. Quentin Lucas was supported by Casey Tennis. That was a move I technically didn't support. Like, Casey Tennis, they engage in a lot of different ways to direct change.
Right.
But Casey Tennis, they said it was a victory. I didn't want to come out and criticize them because they fucking Casey Tennis, bro. They fucking legends.
Right.
How the fuck am I to tell them not to support these people, whatever? So they support Quentin Lucas. And you know what they're saying now, CJ? They like, bro, never again. That was a giant mistake. And because Quentin Lucas, after they were supported, Quentin Lucas is a black mayor who worked with Casey Tennis, worked with all these working class people. Then the second that he got in the ruling class, he sold those people out. He started selling our cities out to real estate developers, landlords. That's what Casey Tennis called black genocide. The black genocide is the amount of black people being displaced for Kansas City because the cost is being so high. So Casey Tennis made what I view as a calculated error and supporting Quentin Lucas. And they used to brag, we got this person elected, he's going to fight for us, and he did fight for us. And now they're trying to do everything they can to get rid of those people, get rid of Quentin Lucas. So what Olayemi wants us to do, and this is why Casey Tennis is a legitimate organization, because they learned from that mistake. This is the point. Olayemi wants us to go through this process over and over and over and over and over again. What we say is that we need to start protecting our material needs right now, building up a revolution right now, which means building up outside governments, taking care of mutual aid, building our community, so people can be taken care of and we can advance our agenda without spending all our time getting politicians elected that will sell us out. But I'll let it continue, TJ.
Absolutely. Here we go.
And sensationalized revolution or romanticize, sensationalized liberation. And it's just like, hey, listen, man, that all or nothing idea you have is very parasitic and violent and dangerous to people. You feel me?
All or nothing.
It's like, hey,
but that's the thing is, Nick, like, and I now I really get what you were saying. Like, all of what they're saying does sound good if they were talking about some sort of activism. But you can't using what they're saying in the context to voting for Democrats. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you fantasizing about revolution and that and that. And then they say, come with us, join us. And we're over here in the community. Come help us feed. You get what I'm saying? Like, if they were saying that and then their conclusion was, come help our new organization because we're helping people in the community, then it would make a linear, logical, make sense. But you notice how they're never saying voting for Democrats each time. They just say that in the beginning of the video, kind of, this is about the Democrats. And then they are the ones they're kind of romanticizing the status quo. They're romanticizing the system that we already have. Like, it's better than having a revolution. But go ahead, Nick.
I want you to play his argument. And I literally heard the first part, and it's gonna be too easy. Let it continue. This is embarrassing. I don't know who the conscious lead. I heard that name before. Like, that's a name I heard before.
Like, he's a cool dude. I'm not gonna get him. He does make videos on. He's a viral TikTok guy. He makes.
So he's a social media guy. He's an online left.
That's who he is.
So he's online
and
left.
Jimmy and JB has had him on the show to talk about some other black communities.
That's why I heard this guy from. So these people keep going. These people keep going in our communities because I know, like, consciously that name sounds familiar. These people go on JB show, they come in front of us, and they never had the balls to make these arguments to our face. Why is that? Why is that? Why do you guys code switch in front of us? Why didn't consciously bring up this to JB? These arguments I'm about to easily destroy. So I'll let it continue, and then I'll explain. Because this is the part where I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Let it play.
Here we go.
You know, romanticize, sensationalize liberation. And it's just like, hey, listen, man, that all or nothing idea you have is very parasitic and violent and dangerous to people. You feel me?
Violent.
It's like, hey, if we can acknowledge that the way in which you get food stamps.
It's violent, CJ. I'll let it continue because this is adorable. This is very embarrassing for him. Let it continue.
Versus a Democrat.
Sensationalized liberation. And it's just like, hey, listen, man, that all or nothing idea you have is very parasitic and violent and dangerous to people. You feel me? It's like, hey, if we can acknowledge that the way in which you get food stamps, the way in which the roads are hit, the way in which your kids get old books or new books, you feel me? The way in which your community is policed, all these you usually come down to a question of voting.
I say that to say, I know.
Pause. All right, so he's done
I
talking.
need y'all to know who I am not.
It's violent to talk about change and revolution now. And he said it's dangerous and parasitic. What do you mean? Question, guys. Ever since you guys rallied together and voted for Hillary Clinton, hell, let me simplify it. I was about to do Hillary, but that would devastate your argument too much. Ever since you guys rallied behind Joe Biden in 2020, how many people died in this country that didn't have health care? My mom, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say their name, but I guess it's out there. My mom had, and this is some shit that traumatized me this last year, had garnishments because she had medical debt. She getting older. Like, this is very traumatizing. She had medical debt. She has a decent job, actually, but she's broke as hell. I had to loan her money so she can pay rent because she had money stolen from her account because she couldn't pay for health care consciously. That's after you guys voted for Democrats. Hey, you want to know what Kansas City, what the political outlining of Kansas City is? It's all Democrats. Missouri is a red state consciously, but despite Missouri being a red state, Kansas City is a blue dot because it's a largely Black and Latino area. Once again, we talk about local politics. You guys are out of touch. You guys never talk about local politics because you're unserious. I dare you to invite me on to explain to me how my ideology of not voting for people who created medical debt. Joe Biden created the medical debt problem, but it's parasitic, CJ, that I don't vote for the person who helped garnish my mother's checks. Are you going to say it to my face consciously? Are you going to tell me to my face that the struggles that my family is going through right now that Democrats caused, it's parasitic that I don't want to support them? Is that an argument that you want to lean in? Are you sure? You guys know why they got to have these safe spaces? I've been calling people on Twitter. Few people made mistakes, invited me on. But I've always been about the funk. I invited Pasta on, we had problems. I invite all people on all the time. But they create these safe spaces because they know, they say these crazy, unhinged garbage to working class people who actually struggle through the system. They will get laughed in the face. A lot of them will get punched in the face saying it's garbage. And I dare consciously. Once again, I knew about him. People thought he was good. He was on the JB channel, but he would never. He told JB, we explained on the show, his disability was cut because Biden cut disability benefits that he got under Donald Trump. It wasn't Donald Trump that cut it. It was Joe Biden when they cut the COVID relief funds. That what happened under a Democrat. So consciously, are you going to look at JB and tell him that it's parasitic that he don't want to support these people? What these people are doing is class war, fam. They are enemies. These are the people who take otherwise revolutionary energy, people who had discontent with the system. That's why they watching them instead of MSNBC, right? They want a different voice. They may be upset with the system. They may follow Olayemi because of the police state. They are ready to do something, and right as they were ready to do something, you want to know who's there to tell people get right back in the Democratic Party? Olayemi, Ryan Grimm, David Schroeder. They are part of a parasitic class. Since you want to use that fucking term, They're the parasitic capitalist class that has a different role. Their job is to sound progressive and then tell people to vote for the people that are going to steal their labor value. They implement a police state. This is so sick. I'm going to pass it to you, let it continue. If they see this video, by the grace of God, if they hear about our being dissing them, because they hear about it, because that's how people complain about, oh, we're being already dissing us. So if you don't know who we are, how you know we dissing people? So they're going to hear about this or being dissing us. Invite me on. I dare these people. I've been daring these people in 2024. I dared them last year. They wouldn't do it. But it's going to be worse this year, CJ, because they're doing this. Why? Because it's an election year.
That's what's worse.
So it's going to continue. This is not going to be the first video. She's going to have a video planned in August. Right, I'm telling you guys right now. I've seen this multiple times. In August, she's going to come out with another video. Oh, you guys are warned. I'm going to tell you guys why it's so important. You guys hear what Donald Trump said at his rally in July? They're going to keep coming out with these videos, and we're going to be right back here to clap their ass every single time. The era of boutique leftists being able to control the narrative and tell people to vote blue with no counter message, you guys realize that era is dead? Every single time these videos are made by you guys going to get clapped by us and our allies. We are not going to allow you guys to mislead the working class like you guys have successfully done for years now. Do you guys think our message has been resonating and our message has been successful in terms of mainstream political thought? No, your guys' message has been mainstream. Your guys is the message that Bernie Sanders followed, that the establishment left follows. So after years of the establishment left dominating the narrative and telling people to vote blue, look at the position we are in right now. Have they been successful? No, they have not. But I'll let it continue. These people make me really upset. If you guys can't tell, I'll let it continue.
Yeah. Let's play a little bit more to the Ben Dixon part, and then we'll end it here. We got some other receipts to get to.
It's cute to be a little delulu from time to time, but I think sometimes these internet town squares need a reality check. My name is Olayemi Olurin, and I am a movement lawyer, political commentator, writer, and national advocate for abolition, bail reform, Black liberation, and other social justice.
Oh no, she talks and then she tells you why she's bringing on the next guest.
Necessary work.
And the next one is Ben Dixon.
And it likely does make me a radical, but it does not make me a revolutionary. And that is okay. That is not a knock to me.
Man, I'm gonna go with civic engagement. I'm gonna go on and say, I think that there's been a concerted effort to demonize civic engagement all the way around. Damn, man,
we're post-duopolis, Nick. We're post-duopolis.
Bro, that's a very smart and Weasley way to say, why don't people like electoral politics like we do? They are talking about us, fam. No one can convince me otherwise. Who else are they talking about?
The only reason I would say Black Power Media is because earlier they said something about the people, the so-called revolutionaries who are doing this are actually petty bourgeoisie, and we're not that. But
maybe they just
Black Power Media has lawyers. Black Power Media has Darren. He's a doctor. He's Dr. something. So that's why I thought maybe they're just including us. But they're definitely including us in that. But yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I can see that. But once again, there's only a handful of people talking about revolutionary that got a platform, right? And once again, constantly know who we are because he was on JV channels apparently. So he knows. So it's both of us. That's what I don't get. Like we had Olayemi on 3 times and she never raised it. This is how I know they're not good faith, because you don't raise. In fact, not only she did, and not that she didn't raise it, she lied to us. She told me to our face. If you guys are interested, you can check it out. I gotta dig and find it. It's gonna be a long time. But she told us in one of her first appearances, because this is why I was testing her. Like, what do you think Black people should do? Well, I'm done with Democrats. She's in front of us. She's code switching. Yeah, nigga, I'm done with Democrats. We need to find a different way. I don't know what the answer is yet, but I'm down to listen to you guys. I'm down to listen to any way to other than Democrats. That's what she said to our face. Now the years later, she's doing these videos. I just want these people to say this to our face. I just dare. They gotta go to their PMC safe spaces, but let's continue.
Yeah, and the name of the video is Policing Prisons and Abolition. Yeah, Policing Prisons and Propaganda. And it says Olayemi join. So if you want to search for the video, that's what you search on YouTube to find the video that Nick is talking about.
I would say in 2023, you just call civic engagement or education around civic engagement or trying to empower, inspire people to be a part of the policy making system or even learn policy making. You write it off as being woke. oh, you trying to do X, Y, and Z. That's to me, I think that's what it is. Because I'm thinking about like, man, I'm 32 years old. I graduated high school in 2009. When Barack Obama won office, or when when people in my class became more politically astute, I'll say when they started talking about George Bush taking away food stamps. That's the first time, I'm being real, that's the first time I started paying attention. I'm born and raised on food stamps. So I'm thinking about how the goalposts changed. It went from being like, hey, don't complain, don't.
So he has no idea that Bill Clinton is the one who took away food stamps for millions of children. He made a deal with Newt Gingrich, the famous thing that reformed welfare nationwide and put in work requirements too. He has no idea about that part. Just a shame. Just a shame.
That's a very embarrassing analysis.
Don't complain or talk about politics if you don't get involved.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I saw someone in the comments. I missed it. Let's see if I can highlight it. But someone said I would love to see him define civil engagement. So technically, CJ, when we talk about ballot initiatives, isn't that civic engagement?
Yes.
When we talk about building a third party, isn't that civic engagement?
Yes.
When we talk about mutual aid, isn't that civic engagement? Sir, how you define that term? I would love to see a response there. Is civic engagement just supporting Democrats? Because I would say showing up to a Palestine march like every single RBN member did is civic engagement. So you guys see how he separates direct action for civic engagement? Very interesting. Isn't that interesting how he does that?
Who would do that is the question, Nick. Would a person from the working class grassroots do that? Or would a person who rubs shoulders in the petty bourgeoisie do that? That's just the question. I'm not giving an answer. I'm just asking a question. But only a couple of more minutes of this, and then I'll get to the other shorter receipts, or like less than a minute.
Yeah, sure.
And we've seen record high numbers of Black people getting involved, and we've seen the goalposts kind of change and making it where people get criminalized for getting involved. For me, I look at it like this, man. If you know that, I want to say, I'm trying to keep in mind what we're talking at. You know what I'm saying? Community guidelines we traded. So listen, if you know Black people, I won't say the N word, but if you know Black people, 3 times more likely to go into jail. You don't see a sheriff in your county jail. The county sheriff.
What party did that, sir?
So if you know Black people had the.
What party did that, sir? You guys see how they fake smart? Man, you know this shit, man. We locked up in prison. Man, this is fucked up how we locked up in prison, man. The system really had their boot on our neck. But this is why we should vote Democrat, the people who built the system. You guys see how they switch so fast? What you're saying here is completely contradictory to your stance against revolution, sir. But let it continue, because he almost hanging himself. Like, I'm shocked. I told you I made 2 minutes in. At this point, I'm shocked at how bad. Like, to me, it's so obvious how they haven't read. They don't know what these words mean. Like, we just called them out. He don't know what civic engagement means. They don't know what revolution entails. They don't know the different forms of electoral politics you could engage in that's not Democrat. Like, there's so many things that he's saying. It's obvious that he lacks knowledge and he just don't read. But let's continue.
I'm gonna let him say this last part, then I'll skip to the Ben Dixon.
Listen, if you know Black people, I won't say the N word, but if you know Black people, 3 times more likely to go into jail. You don't see a sheriff in your county jail. The county sheriff is an elected position. So if you know Black people have the more likely a chance of going to jail and going to a county jail uniquely, don't you think we should be able to pick? You feel me? Even if you think they.
So this is I wanted him to say this. You're using the police state,
unbelievable,
the state that's fucking murdering us. He's using that not as a good thing, like join so we can defund. He's saying if you want to be the one who appoints the slave overseer of your city, you need to be politically. It is us. And how is that a working class perspective? How is that a working class perspective? That is a professional managerial class perspective, Nick.
It's not even that. It's the dumb professional managerial class. Even a member of the professional managerial class has smarter politics than this. The Democrats who building Cop City the KCPD that is ran by a quote unquote progressive mayor who's been funded more, who had more violent incidents since he took charge. These people are responsible for the problems that you are laying out. So how are you criticizing people who say that we shouldn't vote for the people who are causing the problem you laying out? Like, I know, like, just laying it out there like that. Do you guys understand how dumb that is? Like, it's shocking that they make this argument, and their bourgeoisie suburban audience will be watching like, man, Olayemi, consciously, aren't they so smart? They know the big words. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're saying we are being oppressed, so no other options other than voting for our oppressors. It's insanity, which is literally the definition, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting change. So, Olayemi, if you do something, which you claim you do, I don't know what you think you do outside electoral politics. Let's say, CJ, that they organize with abolitionists. This is the point I want to spot on earlier. Let's say you do outside work. Let's say you do what Rome does. Let's make an extreme example. Let's say you're a liberal Rome, right? Oh. But then you vote for a politician that expands the police state and then implement private taxes, which is the cost of capitalism, on your people that worsen their life. You just did something that is counterproductive compared to the activism that you're engaged in. So I am a co-founder of 10 Demands. We are an abolitionist group. So if I'm a co-founder of an abolitionist group, how does it make sense for me to vote for Eric Adams, CJ? Literally everything I did with 10 Demands is irrelevant now. It's irrelevant. And this is something that people must understand. This is to make sure that nihilism don't kick in. We're going to talk about the activism that we do on Jimmy's show later, where our friends do dissidents. But even, and this is something that every revolutionary face is, I remember I talked to Misty about this, the feeling of looming dread and the feeling that you never do enough. It's something that haunted even the most successful revolutionaries. Feel like, man, why am I not doing enough? Like, bro, you know what? You just built a library, fam. What are you talking about? So we are constantly haunted about this. So I did diaper drive. We did multiple mutual aid events at Kansas City. But there's this nagging feeling like, man, there has to be more that I can do. There has to be more. But we have to be disciplined. Because whenever I have these thoughts, CJ, I think to myself, what if everyone did at least a little bit what we did, what we'll be at right now? So it's not about what you do. It's about everyone chipping in. So you yourself, and even with RBN chapters, I'm telling you guys right now, RBN chapters is not leading to a revolution. RBN chapters lead to a revolution if other people start RBN chapters as well. So what they're doing, and this is why they are the class enemy, they are dissuading people from doing their revolutionary duties. So I explained many times before, not everyone's going to be a Rome, right? Many people can't even physically do what Rome does. Right. So if you're someone who can't do what Rome does, you contribute to the revolution in any way possible. Even if it means knitting sweaters, attending a one mutual aid event, contribute to the mutual aid. That's your contribution to the revolution, and that's the obligation of every single worker to constantly engage in that, constantly provide your part. That's how revolutionary is successful. That's why you can't think in the mindset of I'm not doing enough. That's not good logic. But you guys see how they are trying to push the idea to their audience that no matter what you do, it will never be enough to start a revolution, so why try? That's the most dangerous argument that's why social democrats are the most dangerous kind of revolutionaries. Conservatives help us. Liberals help us because they are unhinged. Because they bombed Gaza. Because they cut food stamps and shit. So Republicans and liberals help the revolution by existing. But people like Conscious Lee, people like Olayemi, they exist to kill revolutionary energy, something that liberals and the establishment cannot do, which makes them a unique and dangerous threat, which is why we must address them. Why the American Western left, for the first time I know of, have to acknowledge that these Bernie-crats and these social democrats are the same kind of enemies as liberals and conservatives. This is what communists, this is what socialists understand globally. The West has been behind. But I know you. I'll pass you, CJ. I know we need to move on. So CJ, I'll pass back to you.
No, you're doing good. So we heard people who look like us, people who look like Martin Luther King, same sort of complexion, what we call African Americans or Black in the United States. And you heard their version of what sort of engagement. Now let's listen to Martin Luther King on Martin Luther King Day. Just want to draw the contrast here.
What do you have in store for us this summer?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know about the summer. I guess I should begin with what we have in store for the spring. I feel that we are in the midst of the most critical period in our nation, and the economic problem is probably the most serious problem confronting the Negro community. And I might say the most serious problem confronting poor people generally. And I don't want to be narrow about this, talking only about the black poor in our country, because I must be concerned about Puerto Ricans who are poor, Mexican Americans, American Indians, and Appalachian whites. And we are confronting a major depression in the poor community. And I think the time has come to bring to bear the power of the direct action, the nonviolent direct action movement on the basic economic conditions that we face all over the country. Nonviolence has been a tremendous force in grappling with the social problem of legal segregation and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding that system. And of course, it has been a major force in grappling with the political problem of the denial of the right to vote. But in winning victories like the Civil Rights Bill of '64 and the Voting Rights Bill of 1965 around the issue of segregation and voting rights, we discovered that these legislative strides did very little to improve the lot of the millions of Negroes in the ghettos of the North and in the nation generally. In other words, it did very little to penetrate the lower depths of Negro deprivation in communities all over.
Look at MLK promoting parasitic. Look at the parasitic ideology of MLK. The parasitic, violent, dangerous. I know you guys said MLK was non-violent, but I changed my mind. I'm consciously. He's definitely violent. I didn't thought he was non-violent. That's violence to me, fam. This is Malcolm X. And what's more offensive and why these people are jokes is because people like Consciously and Olayemi, they cosplay around being representative of MLK and Malcolm X. They pretend that, oh man, I strive to be like MLK. Meanwhile, they advocating to be Democrats. Here's a quote. We won't organize any black man to be a Democrat or a Republican because both of them have sold us out. Both of them have sold us out. Both parties have sold us out. Both parties are racist. And the Democratic Party is more racist than the Democratic Party. You know who said that quote? Malcolm X. But I bet you Consciously is like, man, I'm down with Malcolm X, bro. I'm a Malcolm X leftist. That's what these people do. And this is what I was saying on Twitter earlier today. I damn near don't even celebrate MLK Day no more. I hate MLK Day. MLK Day is extremely frustrating to me because MLK Day is every day on RBN. We talk about our black leaders all the time. We fucking named our channel after one of our black leaders and it pissed off the PMC black class that we did that. Talking about our black leaders is not new to us. But what MLK Day has done is create a day where people can use MLK as a way to whitewash their record, as a way to, how the way I put it earlier, they virtue signal around MLK. They use MLK as a way to make themselves sound more radical. And you see this with Democrats, you see this with Republicans. You got people who are capitalists and imperialists when Dr. MLK was the exact opposite of that, but they tweet stuff out on MLK Day like, oh, this is why I stand with MLK. This is what I said. I forgot how I worded it, but I said MLK Day has become unbearable. It's a holiday where a bunch of neocons and capitalists use MLK to rehabilitate their image. That's MLK Day. Yes. I haven't got MLK. Like, there's a value in MLK Day. You get a day off. I was in sales. We didn't get days off. on MLK Day. There are no days off in business I am now. That's the only value in it. The value in MLK right now, the application MLK Day has been my entire life was a way to rehabilitate neocons. John McCain used to tweet about MLK Day.
Yes.
Barack Obama, a war criminal who bombed Africa, used to tweet about MLK Day. So I'm asking this question because you guys know I'm an outside thinker. I don't fit in with this culture because it's not a popular opinion. Most people are like, Nick, you don't like MLK Day? Hell no. I celebrate his birthday. But MLK Day as a holiday is horrible. It is trash. Capitalists use MLK Day to sell you products. Is that how you want to honor our revolutionary leaders? I've been saying this for years now, CJ. I don't blast it out because who want to be the anti-holiday guy, right?
Right.
But since we talking about it, I always hated MLK Day because I always saw what it was. People like Olayemi, Conscious Lee, they're gonna be tweeting about. I bet you, if I go to Conscious Lee timeline, if I wasn't blocked by Olayemi, I promise you they have an MLK tweet. Not that video, not that video talking about electoral politics, but they definitely gonna be talking about them. But you guys see why it's been upsetting me? But go ahead, CJ. That's my rant. I'll pass that to you.
Well, I was gonna say what was said in the video when he was being interviewed on the Harry Belafonte show. If you want to look it up on YouTube, MLK on the Harry Belafonte a show. If you notice, what did he say? He advocated for direct action. Where did he say voting? And then in the same clip, what was so beautiful was at the end, he basically said voting. He came to realize after the Civil Rights Act was passed, that shit wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get to the deep problems. So it was a critique in the same video. That's why I thought that video was beautiful. But let's one more video of him, and then I want to go through a montage of black sellouts selling out, and it's like 30-second videos. But watch and listen to this video in comparison to the black bourgeoisie.
I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we can.
Now, I should have prefaced this better. The reason I'm showing this, because it's showing historical footage, then it's showing current footage. As to say, we've been voting. How is the same shit happening, sir, through voting? Without the revolution, without the movement. So even we've already tried what they were saying in the video before, but that's what this video is. It's showing, comparing old and how it's still happening.
Condemn riots. In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. It has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity.
Now, I must add here, and I'm gonna take this down. Must add here, and during his time, he said white people are just concerned, and I said this in the white moderate video. To me, that's more of a sort of figurative word, because white moderate now includes the black bourgeoisie. It includes people of color, the Vivek Ramaswamis. It includes people of color in that folds too. But go ahead as I pull up the other receipt.
We've been correcting the record about the MLK moderate quote that I think it's been a conscious effort for the establishment left to get wrong. Like, you know, like the Bernie Sanders left. You want to know how like David Schroeder interprets MLK's white moderate quote? According to like someone like David Schroeder of Ryan Grimm, they think he's talking about Joe Biden. no, for real. That's how they interpret it. They oh man, look, they say all the time publicly, they're like, MLK called out Joe Biden as the white moderate. No, he did not. He is not talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the enemy that we need to defeat. You guys voted for the enemy, by the way. That's why they can't rationalize that. The white moderate that he's talking about is Bernie Sanders. And you look at my tweets, I said this like maybe 3 years ago, and the Bernie left freaked out, fam. I don't get ratioed often. That was one of the times I got like ratio. I started like a lot of likes, but I got ratio because like 3 years ago, three years ago, I sent out a tweet that said Bernie Sanders is the white moderate MLK warned us about, and this is before Bernie supported the genocide in Gaza. This is before the delusion around it was broken. I remember to this day, people was like, "What? You call Bernie?" No, that's exactly who they talked about. The person who says the good things, the person that has a speech that has us nodding our heads. CJ. But then when it comes to taking action, they're not taking action. When it comes to side with the empire and the enemy, they side with the empire and the enemy. That quote, and I cannot emphasize it enough because I've seen people get this wrong my entire life, does not refer to the average Democrat. Because as you guys heard, the quote I read, Malcolm X and our black radical leaders acknowledged them as the enemy. It's the people who wanted to join our fight with the enemy, but then fought against our recommendations, fought against us every step of the way, is the model he's talking about. But let's continue this video. I already see who's on here, so this is probably some clown ass shit.
So what I want to get to now is very short videos. It's probably 4 very like 30-second videos. A couple of them may be longer. But I want to now illustrate the black bourgeoisie, the black sellouts, the people who want to project that they're walking in the footsteps of the radical Martin Luther King, but they absolutely not. And these videos, to me, illustrate that point the best. Here is Cori Bush. This is from your home state, Nick, Missouri. And on the ground, she's real. She's the real deal.
Yeah,
but now
Cori
she's
Bush
in Washington, D.C. Go ahead.
Sorry to cut in, but I had to add this because I said this many times. Like, Cori Bush marked the end of the Democratic Party project. I'm told you guys my L, like I took before when I used to believe in that project. That while I was a Bernie supporter, I supported Cori Bush. Fam, I know it seems crazy to say now, but Cori Bush was legit. I'm in Missouri. Every single activist group knew she was. Like, she was as legit as it come. The establishment hated her. She organized against a power group, and she was an outside activist. As far as I know, there's never been any contradicting information. You know how AOC got all these false like backgrounds. That's not Cori Bush.
Yeah, narrative.
So the reason why I say this is, I'm not saying this for no reason. The reason why I say this is, if they can turn Cori Bush, who was a legend in organizing in Missouri, like the Ferguson protest where people got killed, like she was organizing, she was getting aid to people, like she was doing real shit, like shit that you can't deny. If they turning her, they turning everybody. You guys understand? So when Cori Bush turned out to be trash, I'm like, okay, there's no one that you can choose that can convince me to vote Democrat. If Cori Bush can turn and became the neocon blabbering idiot that she is. But I haven't seen this. I'm curious to see what this is. But Jesus Christ.
So let's see some of the videos I'm going to be showing you. Let's see if they're living in the tradition, talking, speaking, and doing things in the tradition of our radical or black radical tradition with people like MLK, Malcolm X. Let's see. Here is Cori Bush.
Come on, come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all open it with me. Okay.
She gonna cry. No.
And if you don't hear it, I Am Every Woman is playing in the background. If you can't hear it.
Bro, unbelievable.
This is so ridiculous.
If you guys don't know the background behind it, this is when Cori, because I actually do remember, we had a fucking black covering this. This is when Cori Bush had her book deal. You know, she just got in Congress, did nothing, but she got a book deal now. And now they released this video about her seeing her book for the first time. You know, something this is extremely relatable to working class stuff right here. And this is probably one of the most, if we did like a word for this year, like the most cringy political video, this would be it. The background music, like she's standing up as the protagonist. I am the protagonist. This is my feel good moment I've been working towards. Actually, I want you to start from the beginning. Let's play it. Start from the beginning.
I am the protagonist.
She viewed herself as the protagonist of life. This is her moment. We supposed to watch this video. We will have tears go down our cheek as we watch her open these books up.
Oh God!
Come on, come on.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah. Okay, y'all open it with me. Okay.
She gonna cry. Nah.
Wow.
Look at that.
Look at this book I didn't write.
Powerful.
Oh my God.
Y'all ready? Hey.
She's like, yeah, oh my God, look at
The
this crazy.
forerunner, Corey Bush. A story of pain and perseverance in America. Today is the day. Look at that. Praise for Corey Bush. Yeah.
We gonna be all right.
Truly, the clown shit. I don't need to play anymore, but that's Corey Bush. But let's move on.
The right wing thing. The right wing look at these people.
Go ahead, Nick.
The right wing look at these clowns and they think they think they're like the new Marxist, socialist, Malcolm X reborn. They are terrified of these people. And let me tell you guys, fam, the capitalist establishment, this was a brilliant move on your behalf to get these people to be the face of socialism. Oh, God damn, that's such a brilliantly evil move. To get these people to make socialism as unappealing as possible. That's what they did. Why do you think AOC go on Instagram and act like a standard e-celebrity bimbo? She's here to make socialism as unappealing as possible. That's why RBN or anyone that considers themselves on the left criticizing people is crucial. Crucial. Why do you guys think there are right-wingers who follow me who see the stuff I tweet sometimes and they be in horror sometimes when I tweet stuff? But they, at the same time, they were like, man, I didn't know the left was like, I kind of like your politics. I thought the left was AOC. Like, so they think the left is AOC, so they hate the left. But then those same people, they see my politics, like, I'm not a socialist, I'm not down for that shit, but I actually like your politics. You know how many times they've been said to me? Countless times. Well, so you guys see why the establishment did this very brilliant trick of swapping the Marxists and socialists who had mass appeal to the working class with these bimbo, PMC, cringe reality show, wanted to be failure of leftist leaders. It's a psyop they've been into. They've done this a very long time since the union days, but it's one of the reasons why the left has been so weak, because the American establishment did something that other establishment who failed the socialists didn't do, this psyop. So anyway, go ahead, CJ. I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, so just a couple of more videos just to illustrate the point. And now we have Black people in visible spaces. And then let's see what those Black people are choosing to do, Nick, in these spaces that's in line with the radical tradition of MLK. So when we're talking about things that cause Black people to get emotional, Nick, I got emotional last week on a stream. My emotions was triggered by the deaths of Palestinian kids. Let's see what the Black bourgeoisie is crying over, Nick.
I'm going to try to get through this. Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
This guy is like, how dare you upstage me, sir, with this crying. But this is what the Black bourgeoisie is doing, Nick. He is crying over the sham of the FBI influenced sham of January 6th. That's what Black bourgeoisie is crying over, Nick.
Yep. And I promise you that he, on his show, he's going to do a segment about MLK, talk about how he lives in the spirit of MLK, crying over January 6th. You know, the operation that was used to expand the police state, they got political capital used to build Cop City based on January 6th. The same January 6th where I remember this, and I keep telling this story for a reason because I don't want this information to die. Like, the ruling class control information, everything we know about January 6th, the narrative is going to be completely different 10 years later. A lot of people forget that Black Twitter was trending the day of January 6th. Do you guys know why it was trending? Black Twitter was trending because everyone was commenting on how Black Twitter found January 6th to be the funniest thing that ever happened. I remember this vividly because it was one of the funniest days on Twitter because you saw all these Black comedic accounts that was like, oh my God, look at these white people. Like, we was cracking up. And then we saw the reaction that white liberals had to January 6th. And then we started clowning them like, oh my God, look at these people freaking out over a fucking coup. You guys think this is a coup? You guys think you guys are traumatized over this? You guys know what we've been through? I see Victor. Victor said I was there. There's only going to be a handful of people, and it's going to be lost to history, bro. That was the January 6th.
I missed it. I missed it myself.
Ron was there. Ron would tell you too, but because me and Ron we was clowning. It was the funniest day on Twitter. Black people was having a blast, and now that's like completely overwritten. No one talk about that now. Now you got the Black managerial class that like January 6th is the worst of all time. No, I remember, and I'm going to continue to tell this story, even though it's not really that relevant, just because I want people to remember what the feeling that the average person had at the time. They will quickly rewrite this shit, fam. If we're not careful, the ruling class win. In 15 years, they're gonna be talking about January 6th like the new 9/11, and they're gonna be like, man, people was really traumatized. Like they will you guys understand how they work. They will completely change this shit. The same way they did about Israel Palestine. But let's continue, CJ.
So you say, yeah, Democratic Party's not that bad. Maybe it's not in the tradition of MLK and the Black radical tradition to be a Democrat, like elected in the party. But if I'm in the party and I have radical ideas, at least I can do that, right? Let's see. Now, we all know MLK has a famous quote where he talks about militarism. Let's see what Jamal Bowman, where he lands on the military-industrial complex question, militarism and genocidal Israel.
I wanted to ask you about your vote in September to approve the additional $1 billion in Iron Dome funding for the Israeli military. This created a controversy within the Democratic Socialists of America, which endorsed you last year. A number of DSA chapters called for you to be expelled from the national organization. Your response?
Well, I've been working with DSA since then to build a better working relationship and get a better understanding how we can work together to move our progressive agenda forward. I've been working with local and national DSA to make that happen. I'm thankful that local and national DSA has been supportive. To the other segments of DSA, before commenting publicly on social media, reach out to our office, let's have a conversation, and let's figure out how to work together as opposed to just making comments on social media. That doesn't get the movement going in the direction.
Why the hell? You guys heard what he just said there? He said, instead of raising awareness on how I sold out on social media, let's talk privately. So then I can come out and start having a conversation, we can move on. Why would any organization agree to this proposal? What any credible organization would tell Jamal Bowman is, we won't stop putting out public statements until you change with your material votes. So what DSA did is they agreed, obviously. They said, okay, let's meet behind the scenes. They stopped tweeting about Jamal Bowman. I know this guy got inside information, guys. So DSA met with Jamal Bowman and start rehabilitating his image. You guys know how I have the Palestinian Community Network. I got a lot of inside information. A lot of stuff I gotta be careful because I don't know how much they want me to tell you guys. I got a lot of inside information about the DSA Jamal Bowman situation. So Madison for Palestine is, we had them on. Remember Ashley from the Palestinian Community Network? We had her on. She used to be part of DSA. Madison for Palestine used to be Madison DSA. So Madison DSA got kicked out of DSA because they wanted to expel Jamal Bowman. And their position was, because Ashley is a strong supporter of Palestinians, they have a lot of Palestinians in Madison DSA. They said, you guys in DSA are out of your fucking mind if you guys think we should be forgiving politicians over this. So they was lobbying over expelling Jamal Bowman. They wanted to expel the squad. And DSA, in response to this, kicked them out, CJ. So instead of, they're not Madison DSA no more, they Madison for Palestine. These are just I gotta be careful. I maybe said too much already, but these are just one of the people that part of the Palestinian community network. That's why she started working with them more, because she got kicked out of DSA because they were too pro-Palestine. Fam, think about that. Palestinian activists got kicked out of DSA because they were too pro-Palestine. Think about that. Let's pass to you. I'll pass back to you. And there's a lot I can't say publicly because I don't know how much they want to be released. But you guys have no idea how rotten DSA is. Go ahead, CJ.
And kind of rounding out some of the petty bourgeoisie video before I get to this article is this is another one. I wanted to make sure I included a lot, so I make sure I got Van Jones. I got this next video is going to be Stacey Abrams, and then we're going to also have a short video of Michelle Obama and Barack. But here is Stacey Abrams giving heaps and heaps of praise onto Joe Biden, the same person who says you're not black if you don't vote for him, the same person who was caught on a leaked phone call telling black leaders that he did enough for the black community and they still voted for him. The same guy who is the major architect of the 1994 crime bill, that guy. The same guy that threw away $15 minimum wage that he promised he's going to do, the student loan debt for historically black colleges, that guy. This is her critique or assessment of Joe Biden.
Are you satisfied with the job he's done as president, what he's delivered on? I think President Joe Biden has been an exceptional president on a range of issues. He has overperformed expectation. He has navigated incredibly difficult circumstances. And he has shown that he is willing to stand with the people of Georgia, with the people of this country, to move the nation forward. Are you satisfied?
Imagine you're a black person, Nick, and you have the ability to answer the question about are you satisfied of the president, a president now from their perspective who didn't deliver on voting rights for you, who didn't deliver on $15 minimum wage, who didn't deliver on the George Floyd Policing Act. Now those aren't acts I wouldn't do. I'm just saying this is what they want. Imagine he not deliver on any of the points he said he's going to do specifically for the black community, and then you as a black representative coming up and saying this. Would you say this is in the black radical tradition? I would say not.
Look at this.
That's Stacey Abrams, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen just real quick.
Yeah.
You guys see how ridiculous Stacey Abrams is, right? Look at this, because I knew I could find something. Look who's speaking at a conversation about Martin Luther King Jr. You guys see the problem? You guys see why I kind of hate MLK Day now? MLK Day is for neocons and capitalists and the most disgusting black sellouts in our community to use MLK and his image to rehabilitate themselves. That is what our holiday has become. That is what this holiday has become. And wait, 5 or 10 years, wait to what they're going to do to Juneteenth. RBN was the only black channel on YouTube that did not celebrate the Juneteenth celebration. Do you remember? Not celebrate, but announcement. Remember the announcement when they said Juneteenth was a national holiday? And we said, so the fuck what? Another holiday they're going to bastardize? Meanwhile, all the black liberal channels, I bet Olayemi too, they was, oh my God, yay, we got Juneteenth. We got Juneteenth. We got Juneteenth. Everyone was celebrating the RBN. Meanwhile, the question we asked, because no one in my personal life got a day off for Juneteenth, right? So my question was, I said, this is a good thing only if every single person get a day off on this day. If not, this holiday is trash. And that's still my opinion to this day. I still see black people talk about Juneteenth as a great holiday. Sir, ma'am, you mean the holiday now that you're going to have Adam Schiff in a few months going to tweet something about Juneteenth. That's what they're going to do for the holiday. So that's what I'm going to show you guys. This is the function of these holidays now. And so Stacey Abrams can get a paid speaking fee now. So I'll pass to you. That's what I just want to show you. I literally MLK. I Googled Stacey Abrams and MLK because every single Democrat uses his name and bastardizes it. Why do we still buy into this shit? You guys know, look at my timeline. I haven't tweeted about MLK. I don't do it. I'm not buying into this shit no more. And the reason why, I know that may sound kind of like wrong, like asshole moving me, but we talk about our leaders all the time. We shouldn't relegate our history to a month That's not the right-wing argument. The right-wing argument is annoying. They hate the fact that Black people are celebrated in general. But my argument is, why the fuck are we putting Black History Months? Why do we have just one day a year where we talk about our revolutionary leaders? On RBN, what I do, we talk about this shit all the time, right? But anyway, go ahead, CJ. I'll let you continue.
So now let's get to
Jesus Christ.
this next video.
It get worse and worse.
Yeah, and we'll just call because it's both Michelle and Barack. This is just the Obamas right here. Here is Michelle Obama, and let's see what she's concerned about. You're a Black person, lives in this country. Think what would MLK, what did Malcolm X say to this question of what they fear the most?
What keeps me up are the things that I know. The war in the region, in too many regions. What is AI going to do for us? The environment, are we moving at all fast enough? What are we doing about education? Are people going to vote? And why aren't people voting? Are we too stuck to our phones? I mean, those are the things that keep me up because you don't have control over them. And you wonder, where are people? Where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bullied pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted. The fact that people think that government, does it really even do anything? And I'm like, oh my God, does government do everything for us? And we cannot take this democracy for granted. And sometimes I worry that we do. Those are the things.
Look how dumb she thinks workers are. So when I heard that whole 1 minute, I had a hard time listening to. Do you guys remember that viral clip of Miss South Carolina when she was asked some political question? She gave this infamous, long, rambling answer. Do you guys remember that famous clip? Yes, I do. That's what every single member of the professional managerial class sound like to me. And during that minute when Michelle Obama was speaking, she has like this accent, like the rich person accent, but she's saying absolute nonsense for 1 minute. Like similar to how that South Carolina pageant person was. She's just saying words, but it makes no sense. That's what Michelle Obama is doing here. No one said government doesn't do stuff. The argument isn't that the government doesn't do stuff. Is that the government keep doing bad stuff, like bombing Gaza, for example, like creating cop cities, for example, like corporate bailout, for example, like civil asset forfeiture, for example. You guys see how they don't even understand our argument? And Michelle Obama, I'm not even sure she's a propagandist. She's doing it for propagandist reasons, CJ. The reason I say that is because she's not a trained politician. I think, and maybe I could be wrong. Like, I'm not saying this as 100%. But I think that she says that not just as a propagandist, but as a classist. She legitimately thinks that poor working class people are so dumb that they can't make the right criticism of the Democratic Party. She's like, oh, you guys don't even know how government works. You guys see how that's always their go-to? That's them projecting their opinion that we are dumb apes that just should be working at a factory and we should let the smart rich people do the thinking. They think we don't have a legitimate criticism of Jim Crow Joe. They think that, these young people, they just hate Jim Crow Joe for no reason. No, we know the hell exactly what the hell going on. More than probably any other generation ever. They're probably the most class-conscious generation ever, but they pretend we're not duopolists out of ignorance. It's the exact opposite, right? But CJ, I'll pass it to you. And
we're just continuing with the Obamas. This is another short video talking about the fears and concerns of her husband, Michelle's husband, that is. This is Barack.
As President Biden ramps up his general election campaign, there are new warning signs. The Washington Post reporting former President Obama has raised questions about the structure of President Biden's reelection campaign. Two sources confirmed to NBC News that Obama and Biden met over lunch in December and discussed the campaign, with Obama expressing deep concern about Mr. Trump's political strength. Underscoring the urgency, one source telling me this is an all-hands-on-deck moment. As President Biden ramps up his general election campaign, there are new...
So the point of why I wanted to show you both of these is that they are concerned, Nick, because polling for Joe Biden is terrible. And what's even worse is that another poll just came out yesterday where he's now at 33%. And black voters have checked out. They don't talk about it as much, but black voters has checked out the same amount, if not more, than young voters of his coalition. They have checked out, so they are definitely afraid. This is why they're trotting out the Obamas. This is why people like Olayemi is coming out doing these videos, is because of that. But let me insert this. Now, this is just as a little, don't think Michelle is the greatest of all greats, and I don't even need to preface this video. Let me just play it, because what she says will tell it all.
I want to start by thanking Harvey Weinstein for organizing this amazing day. Harvey. This is possible because of Harvey. He is a wonderful human being, a good friend, and just a powerhouse. And the fact that he and his team took the time to make this happen for all of you should say something, not about me or about this place, but about you. All right, everybody, we are here because of you.
So I don't know about you, but a person who had bad judgment on Harvey Weinstein, I'm not sure you want to take her advice on anything else. And yes, that is Michelle Obama praising the Harvey Weinstein, the Me Too Harvey Weinstein that is in prison on multiple counts. That guy, that is Michelle Obama. That's who these elites hang around with, the Epsteins, the Weinsteins. The Epsteins, I said it right. The Weinsteins. But now let me get to this article now, Nick. And this is an article from Margaret Kimberly. My bad. I had a brain freeze real quick. This article.
That's why one quick story I want to make sure we get to as well before we. I know we gotta get on Jimmy's show eventually, but I got after we get.
This is the last thing I just wanted to read. Just a little bit of her article that's up because it sums up the whole reason for this. And my bad, Nick, for going extra long with this segment. But here is the article I'll bring up, and the headline says it's not up yet. Ban the war criminals from King Day celebrations. This is from Margaret Kimberly, and this would go from everybody. And Nick spoke to it, how it's nothing on MLK. It's just a bunch of people who should not be and do not align themselves with MLK and would hate him if he was alive, pretending to be living, the ways of MLK. So ban the war criminal from King Day celebrations. I'll just read a little bit, and it says most Martin Luther King Day birthday celebrations are tawdry displays of political cynicism and co-opting. I'll just say it that way. The people must recapture the day from war criminals and their black misleadership puppets. The Rev. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929. His birthday became an official holiday in 1983, and predictably, the understanding and significance of his work is worse due to the designation of his supposed honor. King's assassination in April was one of the most public attacks on the liberation movement. His death was followed by decades-long imprisonments of other liberation fighters, the mass incarceration system, and the creation of a buffer class for the purpose of cohabitation. And I'll stop right there, because this is what we've been talking about, Nick. Yeah. It is right here, the buffer class. All those people that I brought up, the Van Joneses, the Clyburns, and we didn't get to the Charlamagne the guy, but we'll get to that another day. All these people are it fits under this description right here as the buffer class. This is how they're able to co-op. This is how they're able to sell that everything for black people is okay, because then they just point to John Legend. They just point to Charlamagne the God. And my final point, and it goes to the title, and it goes to what you said earlier, it has become unbearable. Martin Luther King Day, people like Barack Obama saying shit, and then the likes he gets from it is just disgusting. The pictures when you go in the hood, Nick, and this is one of the most things I really, really hate. When you go in the hood and certain swap meets, like the Compton swap meet, you'll see memorabilia of Martin Luther King, and then it'll have like Obama on it, like he's living in his, living in his tradition. Like, it's disgusting. But I pass it to you for last words.
The propaganda. I remember those shirts. Like, I remember vaguely, someone I know having a shirt like that with like Barack Obama, MLK. I used to see those pictures all the time. Being much more ignorant. Like, I used to cringe at it because I already knew it was like a wrong, but I had no idea how bad it was. You know, even then I was like, I don't know if you guys should be comparing those two together. But I didn't. You guys know how aggressively offensive that is to try to prop up someone like Barack Obama with MLK. That's the kind of offensive shit that liberals do to our community all the time. Now, I want to get the super chats first. I really, really hope you haven't seen this story. There's a good chance if you was on Twitter, maybe the last 24 hours you've seen this. I know you sometimes you take a lot of big breaks.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't.
I really, really hope you haven't seen this. If you have seen, I still think it would be a fun segment. But bro, this David Pakman shit is something else.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
How many times have I done segment on David Pakman? Like maybe once in like 2 years. Bro, I saw this clip. I got some shit to show you guys, fam. But let's get super chat first because we behind. I'm gonna talk about how with 2024, this kind of fit because you're talking about how Olayemi, Conscious Lee, all these fake radical black people, they got the job assignment. Sam Cedar got the assignment. They all had their time to pretend. Like they are told, like, all right, you get 3 years. We let you say what you want. 3 years. Say whatever you want. 2020, 2024, 2028, every 4-year iteration. That 4th year, we allow you to be a radical for 3 years. Now you gotta pay back. Now the check come back. Now you gotta pay us back. Now after being a radical, after building their platform for 3 years, after pretending to be a revolutionary, then election season come in. Guys, I have seen it so many times. It's crazy. When it first happened in 2016, I got hit with whiplash, bro. I remember the people that was like, never Hillary, never fuck that, Medicare for all bust, and then they voted Hillary. I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. I'm still young. I'm going through this shit the first time. I'm like, bro, I thought you guys said I wasn't gonna vote for here. All right, it's cool. So I'll get back in coalition with something like, yo, that was crazy that you guys did that. But at least this time, I know we got this. Burning our bus. We leaving the Democratic Party. I went through it again because I was once again naive. So then 2020 come. Remember the no middle ground? Remember hashtag no middle ground? Yes. I remember I was very closely aligned with Bernie campaign. I can tell you guys everything. Hashtag no middle ground, if you're on social media, used to trend at least once a week during the Bernie campaign. The idea of no middle ground is, as it says, no middle ground. If you don't support Medicare for all, if you don't support the progressive ass, we are leaving the Democratic Party. Now, you guys understand, this kind of messaging is what tricked me again. Because I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they learned their mistake with Hillary. Maybe these people are really going to do the thing we want Bernie to do. Form this coalition, lead the party. This is what we wanted. I know I shit on myself, guys. I make fun of myself for falling for Bernie all the time. I think it's fair to make fun of yourself. I wasn't always right on stuff. But I am proud that I was always part of the radical faction of the Bernie camp. And there was always that tension. Like, I used to be always never understood why they did certain shit. I hated that Bernie didn't go after Joe. People in the Bernie campaign got mad because I used to tweet out. I used to go after Elizabeth Warren. This is one of the things I talk about all the time. I used to go at Elizabeth Warren and people in the campaign like, come on, man, Elizabeth Warren's our ally. I'm like, the fuck y'all talking about, bro? Like, so there was always this tension. And then when I saw them sell out 2020 once again, I'm like, okay, this is a pattern. It wasn't, we know how in 2016 I got whiplash, I didn't know what else. And then 2020, I felt like, oh, it's a game. Now they're doing it again. For the third time in my times I've been following politics closely, we are seeing it come to pass. And that was 2024 coming. And this relates to this segment because now we got David Pakman, who was a big Bernie bro, who's here to gaslight workers that this economy is much better than it is. Because people like David Pakman and other people, they're allowed to criticize the Democratic Party. They're allowed to do whatever they want. Actually, to be fair, I don't know if David Pakman does that. Everything I see, David Pakman just seems like a standard MSNBC host. But after having quote-unquote independent news, when 2024 hit, you better say the economy's good. You better fall in line. But let me read super chats. I don't want to fall behind. I want to do this in between, and I definitely want to cut this segment. I think this is gonna be a funny segment. We definitely gonna cut this. So super chats is a good way for me to help me cut my. I'm gonna start cutting my own clips more because I got this new phone app. My old computer, I used to cut my computer. I stopped because I couldn't do it no more. I didn't have tech, but I got this new app I've been using, playing around with.
Oh.
That's why I cut a few clips when on our first show. I was playing around with it. I think I got it down. So I never was good at editing. That's why I had to. It's good I had the team around me. But I think I'm gonna start editing my clips a little bit more. So I help you guys out. So super chats is one way to help me. Like, all right, super chats up. I know the segment starts around here. Anyway, that's just me rambling. So that's what I'm gonna try and do more often. Trying to super chats in between every segment. That helps me know when to cut the goddamn segment. You guys have no idea. I'm not a fucking video editor, bro. I didn't go to school for this, bro. This shit takes so much time for me. I'm like, cause you know how people are good at it. Greg, who worked for Hotspot, he's a professional editor. He edits multiple video games. He got the shit down. That's what happens when you get, bro. When I edit shit, when I do thumbnail, bro, this shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It takes forever, bro. Like, anyway, I'm rambling now. Let's continue. Thank for the 199, Sam. Nick, this is all worst salad co-oping Marxist language. That's our good friend Sam. I'm sure that was left during the Conscious League. Garbage.
Yeah.
And that's why, bro, that Conscious League clip is shocking. Because once again, I know of him. I'm not close to him. JB had him on the show. I know of him. And I knew him as the guy who was like, I'm a black Marxist, black radical. That's what I thought of him. Apparently he wasn't. Told you I didn't look into him. That's why when I saw him on the video, like, whoa, what? Conscious Lee is pushing this? To be fair, I didn't look into him like that. He was on JB's show. I seen maybe a clip or two of him where he's talking about the establishment. But then you guys see how no matter what you say, even if you have clips that I was looking like, I'll be nodding at your clips talking about the police state. You talk about capitalism, I'm nod my head. And then that shit to me is irrelevant. Like people got to think the other way around. Oh, it's okay if you're wrong on a few things. No, bro. If you're wrong on the solution, everything else to me don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But the Trump people, we are against the swamp. We're against the empire, but they support the person who hired John Bolton. You saying that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm an actions kind of person, bro. You guys supporting a guy who hired Mike Pompeo. And I'm gonna say this is kind of off topic, but I've been thinking about this a lot. I cannot wait to Trump win again, bro. Okay. You guys know how Biden is radicalizing left-wing people? Bro, all these idiots that are saying Trump is anti-war, you guys know Trump, the only reason we haven't gotten to war with Trump is because other countries. Trump killed General Soleimani in Iran. Trump waged economic war and had the CIA help have a plot to invade Venezuela. There's so many times that we could have started war, but then I ran them like, bro, this nigga Trump is crazy. We gotta just fucking have
Nick. What is Jackson Hinkle and Russell Brand gonna do when Trump is in office and he's doing all the things they're railing against Joe Biden about? Jackson, what do you got to say about this?
I'll at least say about Russell Brand because I follow his content more. Like I told you guys, I never paid attention to Russell Brand until recently. I followed him because of the Ukraine war. I never followed him before that. I'm like, man, this guy was doing good coverage on the COVID vaccine stuff. He's doing good coverage on Ukraine. Let me check him out. Good segments on Ukraine, good segment on COVID. You watch the full show, trash. When you watch it, because the whole show, and it's been consistent over the last few months, is Russell Brand pretending that Trump is like an agent of the working class, that there's a swamp that wants to get rid of Trump, that the reason the establishment hate Trump because he want to go against war, ignoring the fact that there's an entire other side of the establishment that like Trump. So Russell Brand, these idiots, they're like the establishment hate Trump, ignoring the fact that people like Laura Ingraham and the Fox News entire apparatus and capitalist class support Trump. You guys are talking about one faction of capitalism, and they call them the globalists, and they call them they pretend that one faction of capitalism is the establishment. The establishment is both factions. There's one faction of the establishment that like Donald Trump. You can't say that establishment want to get rid of Donald Trump when he got the support of the Republican capitalist establishment. So Russell Brand's entire show premise is Donald Trump is an outside fire the establishment hates. So the entire premise is bullshit. And it oozes throughout his coverage. I stopped watching them, and it's been very disappointing. I thought I had a new channel. I'm like, man, he killed him. You got a new channel I can check out. I quickly stopped to it. And I'm like, bro, that's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry. I know I probably sound like a hater, but Russell Brand is a lot of
people that just have one topic. There's a lot of people that they just good on one topic, one or two.
Yeah,
privacy and war, and then that's it. And they're just garbage on a bunch of other shit.
I'm self-aware, guys. I know I sound like a hater. I know I do on Russell Brand. but he has 6 million subscribers. The reason why I'm saying this is because Russell Brand is extremely influential, and I have seen this because I've been paying attention to his show. I know where it's coming from. The people that keep pretending that Trump is anti-war, a lot of this stupid shit I'm seeing is coming directly because the influence of Russell Brand. And anyway, I'll continue. Let's get super chats. We going a little bit long. Let's continue. Let's get to super chats.
Yeah.
They were 599. Marcus, I think we'd be good though, because it's not a long.
Oh, we'll be good. Like, because we're not going on to Jimmy until 3:30.
No, we got another hour. I think we good.
6, but yeah, we got another hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for 599. First paragraph of first chapter of Lenin State and Revolution. That if we went into a short segment on the whole consciously only me, I wasn't thinking about this earlier. Literally, State and Revolution. I read not the whole thing. I got maybe like 3/4 of the way through, but I got the premise general message. If you read State and Revolution, that debunks literally every fucking thing they said. If there's anything, and that's what got me, like when I first got into when I talked to Rome with Marxist communism, everyone told me, like, if you're gonna start somewhere, start State and Revolution. I started State and Revolution, I've been hooked since then. I promise you guys, if you haven't read that, even if you're not interested in being a Marxist, even if you just want to understand and broaden your political horizons, I highly recommend you read it. I highly recommend it. Thanks for 499 Old Crow. Keep up the content. Continue exposing the propagandists on all sides. Well said, Old Crow. I'm gonna try to get through this a little bit faster. That's my bad. Thanks for 499 Frank. I knew the both of them. We got a lot of support. I appreciate the support today, guys. Appreciate the support. Yeah. We got a lot of support today. Thanks for the 499 Frank. I knew the both of them were problematic. I knew both. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. Remember earlier? There was people in our comments that was warning us. I know you probably said it too. They're like, hey guys, I know Olayemi is good on policing, guys, but I was like, what? That would plant the seed. I saw you guys' comments. There was a ton of people warning us about Olayemi. I saw her on like the Hill to Bend policing once. I seen her post Twitter clips on Twitter about policing. And I was like, all right, if you're good on policing, you have to be good on other stuff, right? No.
And that guy FD Signifier in this chat, I think he is a conservative or conservative leaning, not outright conservative, but it says it right there in that super chat. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that guy. I think for 599 Marcus, today we also commemorate the great communist revolutionaries Rosa Luxemburg and Karl. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I did see that on Twitter.
Yeah, thank you for 599. I'm not good at remembering birthdays and all that stuff like that. Like I'm good at history, but I have a hard time remembering people's names. Like, I'll tell you guys, as someone who studied history, like I'm good at getting concepts, but then I remember people's names. Like, who did do that? Like that's just me in general. I've always been bad at names. So when people talk about like sort of revolutionary stuff like that, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta remember that dude's name. Especially when it's different language, like you see Carl. Like the people who have like weird names. Remember, I read more than anything, so I'll be forgetting people's names all the time. That's just a weakness of mine. Let's continue. Thanks for the 199. Another one, all or nothing, fail, nothing and a smile. Thank you for that, Sam. I'm actually going to read 3 more. I'm going to cut them in half because I actually got more than we thought. I appreciate the support, guys. And I don't want to, I feel like if I speed through them too fast, it's kind of disrespectful. So I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm going to read just probably 2 more and then we move on to my story. Thank you for the 199, Sam. And then we had the super sticker, the solidarity super sticker for Fi Nuella. 2 more chats. Thank you for the 499, Frank. I have a problem with medical debt right now because of a stroke I had back in September. Guys, I try to protect people's privacy. I kind of fucked up because my mom didn't want me to say that on there. That's why I always say I know someone. Yeah, it's my mom, guys. Shit's real as fuck to me. Like it's real as fuck, bro. And she's not the only one. I know multiple people in my family, not like one. Multiple people in my family have medical debt. That was caused by Joe Biden's bankruptcy bill. A section of the bankruptcy bill that was sponsored specifically by Joe Biden. CJ, you know there was even like moderate Democrats that didn't support some of these amendments, and then Joe Biden sided with neocon Republicans to help get the most harsh amendments passed in the bankruptcy bill. That's what Joe Biden did. But consciously, Olayemi is telling Black people to support the person that created the scourge of medical debt. Black people, by far in this country, if you guys are still not sold on the race equal class argument, Black people are, out of everyone, suffers the highest cases of medical debt, and it's not even close. I wrote an article about it. 1 out of 3 Black people will suffer medical debt in their lifetime. Do you guys understand how crazy that is? 1, 2, 3. One of those people in medical debt. You guys know how crazy that is? Democrats built that system, but we're parasitic. We don't vote for them, CJ. I'll be very interested to see how consciously explain that to us in the conversation. I'm serious. I know we may hurt his feelings with this video, but I am 100% down to go on the video with Conscious Lee. Video with Oli Emin. You guys notice that they never down to that with RBN? Ask yourself why. It's almost like one of us is confident to defend their position, the other is not. You guys know what the whole Black Power Media thing? People are like, why didn't you reach out? I did. I literally DM'd them, left them in shambles because they didn't know I was going to come at them that hot. And then like, oh man, we're not going to invite you on. You come at me like that. Nigga, I don't owe you civility. That was like the Kamal said. I sent you the screenshot. He's like, nigga, I will talk to you, but you get me. Nah, nigga, after you lied to us, I don't have no right to give you any sort of respect.
Oh, that's some bitch
you got
shit
a
right
chance to
there.
invite me
That's
on.
some bitch
Dr.
shit.
Kamal was like, you're like, man, I would have talked to you, but you came to me all back. Nah, nigga, nah, don't come. You talk shit. I reached out to him like, bro, you want to come on my show and told me this to your face? And he backed out like a little bitch. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff I do because I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas City. When I have problems with people, I reach out to them. I'm like, let's have a conversation. Once again, I have a lot of disagreements with Pasta, but props to him. Pasta is like one of the few people, CJ and fam, that listened to that had a disagreement with me and then came on my show and talked about it. You guys know how many times I offered people to do that? They never take it. Never. And I think that's funny. It also kind of strokes my ego a bit. I think for $2, Spider-Man and his friends, it'd be last super chat. Pink shirt roams. It's terrible. We got a few more. I'm gonna read some more super chats. This segment is not long, but it's a segment I definitely want to cover because I don't want to do this segment at Nick and Night because this is a segment I want to do with CJ because this segment is fucking hilarious. This is about how Democrats, their strategy heading into 2024. Now, the genocide that Joe Biden sponsoring has them in shambles because now that became the main focus. But one of the biggest strategies that Democrats had come into this election is not to fix the economy, not to provide stuff to workers that actually matter. It's to gaslight workers into thinking the economy is good. So you know how they do this, CJ? They get a bunch of big brain PMC gaslighters that quote you numbers and statistics that mean nothing in your goddamn life. So you will look at a Democrat and a Joe Biden supporter like, man, these groceries are fucking crazy. And they're like, hey, don't you know that technically inflation is down by 1.2%? And don't you know that we got GDP growth? You shouldn't be complaining. Those numbers mean nothing to us. And what I'm talking about is going to be really relevant soon.
So true.
Biden challenge. Convince voters this isn't the economy they think it is. That's the campaign strategy for the Democratic Party. Now you see this out MSNBC and CNN. And I'm going to show you guys soon. You're getting this out of independent media in the most aggressive way possible as well. This is another example. I'm going to show you guys a few because they pumping these stories out. They are mass producing these stories, CJ, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get extremely worse because we are just starting 2024. Wait until the summer. Wait till you see the economy stories coming from the liberal side of the capitalist class next summer. Look at this headline. And I literally just pulled the last two I found, CJ. I didn't selectively pick to prepare this statement. There's so many stories. I'm like, all right, let me just find two real quick. Why are Americans so gloomy about their great economy? You goddamn peasants! Don't you realize our GDP is up? Inflation, partisanship, and the pandemic have made them glummer than the numbers suggest they should feel. They should feel. The media job, like Mika Brzezinski said, is to tell you how you feel about life. Remember that's what Mika Brzezinski said. She said, our job as the media is to tell you how to think. She said that on the air, fam. They're not conspiracy. They're not leaked email. They're not leaked text message. She said live in front of her entire audience that the job of the media is to control how you think. So you would think that independent media will cure this problem. That in order to address the problem of corporate media not informing people and telling people how to think, that independent media job is to inform people, to empathize with people. So now we have this guy who Nico House had a viral tweet. I wish I had saved. He had a tweet that had so many likes where he said, people have no idea how disgusting that David Pakman is. I think Nico know him personally in some way. And Greg says here, he's a account I'm a big fan of. Greg says, you don't hate these people enough. You think you do, but you don't. And CJ, it has not been the thesis of RBN for like the last 2 years.
Yes.
When people are like, oh my God, why you guys spend so much time on these people? I'm like, guys, you don't hate them enough. You guys like are kind of like, I don't care about them. I don't want. No,
that's not my cup of tea. No, you need worse than that.
Bro, these people are not worth your indifference. They are worth your hate. We gotta acknowledge these people are a class enemy. They're not, I don't watch this shit. Oh no, they are here to be the enemy of our movement and the enemy of revolution. Now I'll let the video play because trust me, bro, this is something I really hope you haven't seen this. This is something else. He get a caller. For whatever reason, this guy listened to Dave Pacman. He called Dave Pacman, CJ, and like, bro, why are you being so full of shit on the economy, bro? We are struggling. And his reaction is I couldn't write this. It's absurd. He makes our job so much easier because he exposed everything about social democrats right here, right now. I'll let the video play. Listen to this.
David, why are you acting like the economy is so booming and good?
Because I look at the data. This is not a show about my opinion. My opinion is irrelevant. I'm looking at the data, and that's why I say the economy is good.
The economy is absolute trash.
Oh.
There are no jobs.
Oh, we actually have record low unemployment.
Everything is so freaking expensive.
Inflation was 0 in October.
You guys thought I was joking? You guys thought that was a bit? You guys thought I was doing a bit? No, that's a worker calling to a show like, bro, there's no jobs. I'm telling you my anecdotal experience as a worker. There's no jobs. Food is expensive as shit. No one has any money. He's like, nigga, I'm looking at inflation. Inflation actually had a record low. Actually, the jobs report was fantastic. You guys see how disconnected these people are? This guy is telling them about the reality of life, and he started quoting statistics. I'll play that part again. I'm gonna let it continue some more. I just want to emphasize that part, and it gets worse as it continues. Listen to
about my opinion. My opinion is irrelevant. I'm looking at the data, and that's why I say the economy is good.
The economy is absolute trash.
Oh.
There are no jobs.
Oh, we actually have record low unemployment.
Everything is so freaking expensive.
Inflation was 0 in October, 0.1 in November, and year-over-year inflation is down to 3.1%.
As if these numbers are supposed to mean any fucking thing to us, CJ. You guys see how the professional managerial class, they spin these numbers in order to delegitimize your economic struggle. This is coming from a millionaire who lives in a studio that is telling a worker that he's not actually struggling because he's looking at data. I'll let it continue because it actually get worse.
Interest rates are through the roof.
Interest rates are down 2 points and coming down further.
Go ahead, CJ, if you want to chime in real quick.
Because what these people, because of their class, fail to understand is that numbers, your data does not translate into paying for food. Your data does not translate into paying the rent that's up. So when you say inflation is down, you know what they're including, Nick? They're including rich people. They're including inflation for them. They're including the price of Louis Vuitton, the price of this watch, the price of stuff that none of the working class is going to be paying for. None of it. But that inflation dropping is not included on my rent. The thing that takes up the vast majority of our income, which is housing, your inflation number does not reflect that.
Yep.
But go ahead.
Look, and you know this guy is a propaganda for the capitalist class and the enemy we must address. He's not just a dumb white boy. He's an enemy because he says, my opinion does not matter. I am citing the data. What data is he citing? Is he citing data that promotes the idea that we're struggling like the medical debt statistic I gave you? Is he citing the data that 65% of the workers that make $30,000 or less? You got to see how he picked the data to that serves his capitalist agenda. And then among the data that he picked, the data he quotes is misleading. I actually didn't think about it the first time I watched the video. I just now thought about this. You see how he quoted the unemployment number? CJ, you remember? How did they get the unemployment number down? They threw people off of unemployment benefits, took them off the roll. We reported this in great detail. Not only us, I'm not even propping the RB up here. The Hill, literally everybody, even Breaking Points did a story about it. Talking about how Biden and them fuzzed the unemployment numbers because all they did was stop counting a lot of people. So that got the unemployment number low. Is David Pacman mentioning this to his audience? that the reason why unemployment low could buy him kick these people out their benefits? No, that's how you know that he's not just about the data. I'm one of those people too. I tell you guys, I'm about facts over feelings. But the statistics can be easily lied and manipulated. What he's doing is trying to manipulate people using statistics, hoping that you don't have the background information that I do. One another thing that we exposed about statistics, CJ, you know how they calculate the poverty rate in this country? No person that is a socialist, or not even a socialist, that are pro-worker, will accept the standards that capitalists laid up on us regarding poverty. Do you guys know, according to the federal data on poverty, if you are a single mother with 2 kids and you make $24,000 a year, you are technically out of poverty. According to their statistics, CJ. So, CJ, explain to me how that makes sense. Can a single mother in LA live on $24,000 with 2 kids? No, but according to the data, that person would be out of poverty. So then David Pakman will say, oh, you can't have there's no poverty problem. Poverty rate is down according to the data the capitalists fed us. Yeah, see you guys say, what? No, guys, no, for real. Do you guys think that a person can live on $13,000 a year? So I use the single mother argument because that pulls on the heartstrings. But according to the poverty rates, if you're a single person, if you make $13,000 a year, you're out of poverty. How the hell that makes sense? I don't have kids. I don't have a large amount of bills, and because I live in the Midwest, my life cost is not as high as other people. But there has been no point in my life where I, as a single person, can live on less than $13,000 a year. But according to capitalists, you're out of poverty if you make that. You guys see how data means nothing? But David Pakman quotes these stats that I just thoroughly debunked that no one should take seriously. You guys see how ridiculous they are? But now let's watch because they get worse.
Unemployment.
Everything is so freaking expensive.
Inflation was 0 in October, 0.1 in November, and year-over-year inflation is down to 3.1%.
Interest rates are through the roof.
Interest rates are down 2 points and coming down further.
Kids can't even buy a house.
Well, okay. Kids can't even buy a house. I don't know what age you're thinking of. That part may be true.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing YouTube, man?
I'd probably be working in finance, to be honest. I was all set to go into finance, and then they pulled me into podcasting.
I know I'm a conspiracy theorist. This part, you don't have to put that much stock into. This is not the smartest part of this analysis. But when I heard this, my ears perked up. CJ, tell me if I'm wrong. Who is they? Who is they? I may be looking in this too much. I am acknowledging it. Do you guys see how he said that I was set to go into finance until they put me into podcasting? Was that a slip? Who is they? I'll play that part again. And I want you, I know I'm a conspiracy. Once again, I'd say, you don't guys don't have to put that much stock into that part. But this part is very weird to me that he says that. Listen.
Well, okay. Kids can't even buy a house. I don't know what age you're thinking of. That part may be true.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing YouTube, man?
I'd probably be working in finance, to be honest. I was all set to go into finance, and then they pulled me into podcasting.
And they. Once again, I'll move on because that part not that important, but I think that's weird. This guy who's popped up by the algorithm, who has a giant channel, who repeats DNC establishment talking points. It's talking about how he was planning on going to finance, and then they're like, no, I think you'd be better as a propagandist, sir. Once again, don't put too much stuff in that part. I just think that's funny. Let's move on.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
No, I would almost certainly be working in finance, yeah.
I mean, you have to sit there and talk crap about Trump every single day to put food on your table, man.
I don't have to. I choose to, sir, and that's a big difference.
If you didn't have that, you'd be totally screwed, man.
Right.
But I'm telling you this right here. There is no jobs. Nobody is spending money.
Actually, GDP has been up dramatically.
The economy is in the hole. I'm not talking about Trump or Biden. I'm not saying right or left, red or blue.
Look, this guy, CJ, is pleading to David at this point. He's like, David, I promise you, I'm not some Trump guy. I'm not here with agenda. It's not about right or left, not about red. But I'm telling you, I am pleading with you, man. There's something going on here and you're lying to us. This guy that is talking to him is as nice as you can possibly be, considering the condescending attitude that David Pakman has given.
I don't understand what is David's purpose. Are you saying the guy on the phone is not experiencing economic problems? So when I say the rent is too damn high, you're going to say wages are up? What does that do for what I'm saying? So I don't understand what is he saying? Because the guy is not stating statistics. So why are you coming back with statistics? Why are you not saying, oh, I mean, even if you believe what David is saying, why wouldn't you go, oh, you are experiencing this, and there's few people that are experiencing this, but more broadly speaking, what's affecting more, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a better way of doing this, but to do it almost like you're upset, like you're put off, that you have to explain to a worker that the economy is great, regardless of their evidence that the economy is not great for them. So if this is what Democrats are going to do, Nick, they're going to lose badly.
It's a strategy.
They're going to lose.
You see how they all got the memo? That's why I really want to do this segment on this stream, because it fits with the Oliemi segment. Like, it's actually perfect. I wanted to say this when we did Nick and CJ, and it fits because you see how Oliemi and Conscious Lee and all those people got the message? Your job is to use black radical lingo to trick people to vote Democrats. David Pacman serves a kind of different role. His job is to be the nerdy finance guy who quotes statistics to get you to vote the Democratic Party. You guys see how the Democrats adjusted? And now they hijacked independent media. At first, I said this many times, the internet threw the establishment off at first during the George Bush era. This is the era where I got radicalized, you know what I mean? And after adjusting to the age of the internet, they realized that all we had to do, like, why are we freaking out about podcasters? Let's just put a Vosh in. Let's just get a David Pacman. Let's get a young, white, confident, quote unquote charismatic, because I don't know what people see in him, but I'm sure because charisma, right? So the Democrats adjusted to the internet age. All of a sudden, Twitch blows up. All of a sudden, these people who start, and they're not David Pacman, they're like the Vosh and they're the Hassan Pikers. And all of a sudden, these people who play video games start talking about politics. I grew up in the internet age, and not the modern internet age, but I'm a younger millennial. I grew up during the 2000s internet. There was never a time where there was gamers talking about politics growing up. When the fuck did that happen? And all of a sudden, you got Vosh come out of nowhere. Hassan come out of nowhere. David Pacman, these people come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they influencers promoting the Democratic Party. Once again, I don't have any hard evidence for that. I will admit that. I will always admit to you guys if I don't have hard evidence. I'm trying to be truthful to you guys. But I'm telling you guys how my mind works. I work in theories. And I work to prove it. That's my scientific mind. So my theory, based on everything I've seen, Destiny is another one, Destiny involves. My theory is that the establishment went into Twitch, went into these people, recruited these people, and got them to repeat these talking points. But I'll let it continue because we almost done. It's not a long segment, CJ. It's only this clip, so I'll go back and we let the clip continue. This is something else, man. I saw this. I was like, this is crazy.
Difference.
If you didn't have that, you'd be totally screwed, man.
Right.
But I'm telling you this right here. There is no jobs. Nobody is spending money.
Actually, GDP has been up dramatically.
The economy is in the hole. I'm not talking about Trump or Biden. I'm not saying right or left, red or blue. I'm telling you the facts. The economy is in the dumps.
I would love it if he was able to present a single statistic that suggests that. We don't have a perfect economy. And again, we started at the top of the show by pointing out, just because they're lying about oil production being down when it's actually...
You don't have to hear the rest of this, because you guys see how they cut them off? Your life experience don't matter. I have statistics, vote Democrat. CJ, I want to get your reactions.
You see how I said point to a statistic that says that, but in a system that is capitalist, they don't provide statistics. They don't provide lanes for you to have statistics like this in a capitalist system, David Pacman. But this is easy to sort of diffuse. You mentioned GDP. They a lot of times mention the stock market. I forget. He mentions inflation. These are all markers to tell you how owners, aka capitalists, are doing. These aren't markers to tell us how we're doing. Like if they say unemployment is down, when there was the top best unemployment time? Slavery. How does that tell you how the economy is doing? Because every one of those slaves had a job. So unemployment rate was very low. How does that tell you how the economy is doing? And the same thing for GDP. You know what sort of markers that would help you tell you how the economy is doing? The ratio of the federal minimum wage to inflation.
Absolutely.
That ratio, that will tell you buying power of a regular person, meaning how much does a dollar buy in produce, not other stuff, in food, like things that people need, like food. How much does the dollar get you in gasoline? It only buys you this. Those are markers that will tell you how the people who are spending money is doing. But go ahead.
That's such a great point, because you guys see the markers that capitalists make up completely below the ground, low expectations. Essentially, if you're not starving and you got a roof over your head, they consider you doing well. GDP is up because we do have a record amount of millionaires. The establishment realized by having extremely rich celebrities, rich athletes, and creating this illusion that the American dream is easily attainable, which leads to a record amount of millionaires. It can trick people into thinking they're going to be the next rich capitalist, even though they're going to be an exploited worker the rest of their life. But y'all know you're probably thinking, like, Nick, what about the millionaires? There's a lot of millionaires. Isn't that good? You guys know that despite the fact that there's a record amount of black millionaires, the racial income inequality gap is worse than it was in the civil rights era. I quote to you guys the black medical debt. Black people account for 40% of the homeless population, by far the highest. So millionaires who spend a lot of money, thus driving up the GDP, is not a reflection of average poor working class people. So I told you guys on the channel, don't look at the GDP of the country. The only thing that matters is the GDP of your household. You guys notice how they're trying to get you to not pay attention about that stuff? Now let's talk about markers. This is my last point. We get super chats and we wrap up. The markers that capitalists use is absurd. GDP, unemployment, and stuff. You know what the marker that Marxists and the socialists will use? Labor. What is the feeling of labor? So CJ, how do these social democrats like David Pacman, how do they reconcile the fact that labor is extremely upset? We are seeing a record amount of strikes, a record amount of union activity, a record amount of workers who want to join a union and want to strike. So the amount of strikes we've seen doesn't represent the amount of people who want to strike. These are people who got the strikes done, CJ. So we were seeing a record amount of people who want to go on strike and people who are generally upset at their job. How can people reconcile that with a good economy? If we live in a good economy where people are thriving, CJ, wouldn't workers be happy? Wouldn't we have less strikes if the economy was good? You guys see how that's a metric that we use? If the economy was so good, Starbucks wouldn't have to unionize, wouldn't they? Amazon wouldn't have to unionize, wouldn't they? We wouldn't have a massive shortage because you had very important workers boycotting. So the feeling of labor itself is the number one indicator that you should use. If we have reports of record happiness at jobs, people having massive retention, union membership up, that would be good. People don't want to strike because they're happy with their payment. That would be good. That is not what we have. But anyway, let's read the last few super chats. If you guys don't know, we're going to be joining our friends at the Post-Duopoly show on the Jimmy Dore show within the next hour or so. That's why I would I'll make sure I get that segment in. But I want to make sure we read these super chats. So we're going to be on Jimmy with Due Distance. You guys don't know. I have Nick at Night on Tuesday. I'm doing an activist panel, so that should be fun. And my boy Andrew, he heavy into activism. They just did some action. Oh, damn it! Sorry, Andrew, I'm blanking. But he just sent me. Andrew just organized the action, so we're gonna talk about that. Anyway, that's on Tuesday. Thank for the $5. Spider-Man is an amazing friend. Great name. I was trying to say the only guy in the pink shirt does a bad job trying to sound like Rome. Constantly does a bad job of Rome. The online left, according to these people, is Rome. If you guys want to shut that argument down, just use Rome. The idea that the quote-unquote online left does nothing. Rome is as online as it gets. I'm sorry, brother, that offends you, but you are. I am too. I won't admit it. He's on Twitter a lot. He's on social media a lot. If there's an online left, it's Rome. So what's up with you guys demonizing the quote-unquote online left as if the online left is not doing anything? Why do you guys think we organized our part of the brand campaign? I started KT chapters. Let me pose like this. Who are the people, CJ, that are so passionate about politics that they will create a Twitter account and post about it all the time? These are the people that are most likely to be activists. The people who don't post online are the people who don't care about politics. So if you post online, if you got an account, these are the people who are most likely to be activists. These are people in my circle. People who are activists tweet. The Palestinian Community Network tweet. Because if you're passionate about politics, you do that. You're on social media. That's why the idea of demonizing the online left makes no sense. The people who post about online are the people most passionate. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you for $25, Terry. I am reading Born in Blackness, Africa, Africans, and Making of the Modern World. 1471, World War I by Howard F. French, an excellent account of this largely forgotten and untold history. MLK lives on. Well said, Terry. Thank for the 199. Nick was talking about FD. I'm not sure what those initials mean in that context. Thank for the $5, Victor. On the topic of the Obamas, do people not realize how fantastic it is that our politicians leave office and join the private business sector? Like, you gotta know, like, Obama never even pretended to care about society after he left president. Isn't that funny? You know how other presidents at least like create a lot of bullshit foundations and do all these bullshit, right, to pretend they are still engaged. Obama left the White House, was like, all right, guys, Netflix deal, I'm out. Shameless. Actually, I read that one before. Are we caught up? I think you started this question. You want to take it on? Question: are RBN against voting because of corrupt political system, or are RBN against voting on principle? RBN.
It's a new person, so they want to know what our baseline is. Go ahead.
You can take it on as well. A lot of people don't understand this is why RBN is actually kind of hard to attack, because people don't understand that we have variations, and like both me and CJ, I don't think anyone at RBN will admit that Rome is the most far left RBN member. So Rome answer that question is that I'm against voting generally on principle, because he don't want to enable the legitimacy of the capitalist system, and I heavily agree with that sentiment. We shouldn't be legitimizing that. But I am not against voting on. I'm not against voting on principle, because I'm for like ballot initiatives. For example, I'm for propping up a socialist third party via voting. So to answer your question directly, I'm against voting for the duopoly on principle. And I tell you, even because of Cory Bush, I don't care who it is. Like, maybe Rome is the last person. Maybe I trust Rome so much, and Rome like, I got pride, I'm gonna run a Democrat. I'm like, nah, you sure, bro? You sure about that? But generally, at this point, it does not matter how good you are. That's why I didn't fall for RFK. There's no chance of a fall for Marianne Williamson. If you're running as a Democrat, you're immediately disqualified. That's my position, CJ. You can take it on if you want. I think we almost caught up, essentially.
Yeah, I think we had like 20 super chats. So I think you read about. Yeah, you got a few more. Oh, but I can answer the question quickly. RBN is against voting Democrat, and we should include, we're against voting for the duopoly. We are post-duopolist. Yeah. We believe that we need to take the center of power from these two groups, and because they are death and destruction, they are killing us all. They are using all of our money to kill a bunch of people. They are destroying the planet. So that is more of the reason why we don't want to feed into that, more of that. But go ahead, Nick, the next one.
Yeah, what's that? And you gotta know that people who try to fight our arguments straw man us. Everyone who always fight our argument and say RBN is against voting, against electoral politics. I'm like, no, we're against voting for Democrats like you guys do. Get the record straight. I'm a Marxist-Leninist. Marxists believe in building socialist parties that inherently electoral. And there are a lot of like fake communists on Twitter. There are a lot of people who think they're Marxists but haven't read theory. There are people that would say, well, we should never engage in electoral politics because you're Marxist. That is not what they said at all. They said we should build our own party. That's what we're doing with chapters, isn't it? That's what Rome's doing with the Care Party, right? RBN, and I'm proud to say that. That's why views, subscribers, none of that shit matters to me. I'm proud to say that RBN as a network is living through the tradition of the Black Panthers and building a channel through the Marxist-Leninist lens. We broadcast, but we got 5 fucking chapters. We got a disabled member doing mutual aid. Like, you guys know, like, it's crazy. So that was something I'm proud of. Let's move on, because I know we gotta get out of here. Then for the $10 JF for a super sticker. Thank for the $5 Nima. I'm a Malcolm X leftist. I watched Nina Turner's unpause. I don't know if you've been sarcastic there. because I know Nima, so they might be sarcastic there. I'm not sure, but it's still funny. I'm not sure how to interpret that comment by Nima because I know I'm sure they're being sarcastic. So I read like I'm a Malcolm X leftist. I watch the internal on balls. That's probably what they think. So that's how I read it because I know Nima is not a shit lib. And Landrew, thank you once again for the generous super chat. It helps us out a lot, especially in this time where our income was cut in half. So we appreciate the generous super chat. It really does mean a lot. So vote no on Genocide Joe, Dream Team, Jill Stein, Cornel West in 2024. Dude, like Cornel West and his supporters are upset at us, bro. His wife unfollowed me on Twitter, bro. Shit, they are so salty, fam.
What?
God.
That's weak. But it's so bourgeoisie.
I'm not trying to make it into drama. I'm not trying to make this drama. I'm just saying this in general. Like the reason why I got the Dr. Cornel West interview because I was cool with his wife, and his wife introduced my article. How we became friends in the first place. She's unfollowed me. So I'm like, damn, we really hurt his feelings. You guys don't understand. Look at our coverage of Dr. Cornel West early. We wanted that shit to succeed. You guys made them fucking mistakes. Yeah. You guys decided not to run as a green. You guys decided to go on Jimmy Dore show and sound like a fucking shit lib. We didn't do that. You did that. You did that. You're the one who sounded like a fucking COVIDian. You go on the most important show, a giant show like the Jimmy Dore show. You go on the Jimmy Dore show, sound like a fucking COVIDian. And you wonder why RBN turned on you. You leave the Green Party, take ballot act. You guys understand, we had Dr. Cornel West on our show. This is why I'm very pissed off about this. On our show, we explained to him why it's so important for you to run as a Green. It's not about you, it's about building a movement. And then Dr. Cornel West said, fuck your movement, it's about me, I'm leaving the Green Party. And now they're salty that we don't support them no more. That was on you, fam. So if Dr. Cornel West decides to join Joe Stein on the ticket, I'll be actually happy about it. Because my criticism was Dr. Cornel West decided to run a campaign like a fucking bonehead. So you shouldn't be on top of the ticket. You should be a VP. And I would be, to answer your question, I would 100% support that. But Dr. Cornel West, as a leader, disqualified himself. And there's someone who was friends with them. There's someone, if you watch our coverage, I was criticized for being too, optimistic about the chances of Dr. Cornel West. He fucked up, not us. Anyway, let's move on. That first time I said it, I didn't want to drop that in public, but I always thought that was funny. That they salty. Fuck RBN. Fucking RBN. They're supposed to be our media arm. We had a plan. We were to turn RBN into our media arm. We're going to fuck up and they come on and apologize for us. That's what they thought was going to happen. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Thank for the 999 Molly. I strive to be more like RBN. Appreciate the comment. That means a lot. My number one goal is to inspire you guys. So I appreciate that. Yeah, we got a lot that came out. I really appreciate the support, guys.
Yeah, we got to get to them the show. The Jimmy show. Yeah. Oh, you already read the other ones? I don't know if you started from the bottom or not. You should read the Janice.
Yeah, I started from the bottom.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. So you read.
Yeah. We vote for a
Jimmy
good master.
show starts in a minute and a half. The countdown is in a minute and a half, and we're gonna be on.
All right. Yeah. So
just for everybody watching, go over to the Jimmy Dore show if you want to see us. We're gonna be appearing on the Jimmy Dore show in about a half hour. The show starts in like a minute, but we're gonna be appearing in a segment in about a half hour.
Yeah, this last super chat. I don't mean no shade, but I think I caught up. Any other ones super chats? I got cut off here just because time. I usually read all of them, but for time I got cut off here. Then for 999 Janice, poverty threshold is based on 1963 food prices. If it was updated to today's pricing and it included rent, transportation, utilities, more than half the country will qualify for assistance. Well, I only know a little bit. I know how they manipulate the unemployment rate. Guys, I don't even know the half of the bullshit they probably did with the statistics. I would love to have an expert on like that, like displaying how they fuck up. I just know a little bit. The little bit I looked into, I'm like, oh, yeah, this shit's fucked up. God knows what they do with anything else, like Janet said. So that's our last thought. We really do got hard exit. So we both went a little bit long there.
Yeah, I think that you covered everybody. Yeah, I'll put it up, but we won't read it. But you covered everybody, and I'll toss them up just in case we didn't get to them. We do apologize. We only have a hard out because we have to get over to the Jimmy Dore show. They do it a little bit different than StreamYard, which we use here. So please forgive us if we didn't get to your super chat. And Nick, if you would just stay here on StreamYard when I end the stream so I can talk to you before we move over to, the Jimmy Dore show. Anything else before we close this out?
That's all I got. I'll be back tomorrow, so that's all I got for now.
Yeah, don't forget Nick at Night, Tuesday, Thursday evenings, 9 p.m. and Nick at noon on Saturdays. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to have my schedule set, and then I'm going to post that soon. But until then, catch us over at the Jimmy Dore Show. That is all.